evening. I'd like to call to order the IPS School Board of Commissioners Action Session meeting for November 18th, 2014 at 7 p.m. Tonight, our colors are being presented by John Marshall Community High School, JROTC Color Guard. Commanding is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Joanna Ayala. The American flag is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Bradley Till. The state flag is Cadet Sergeant Cameron Bovey. The school board flag, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Robert Woods. The left rifle, Cadet Sergeant First Class Keisha Taylor. And the right rifle, Cadet Captain Miranda Conley.
Color guard, attention. Carry, colors. Forward, march. Color guard, hold. Colors first, march. Color guard, hold. Precinct, arms. Please join me to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Face. Forward, march. Color guard, hold. Hold. The colors. Precinct, arms. Order, arms. Face. Forward, march.
Thank you, John Marshall. Madam Secretary, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Brown,
Aki.
Commissioner Arnold,
Here.
Commissioner Cosby, Commissioner Odle, Commissioner Adair White, Commissioner Hannon,
Present.
President Ruth.
Here. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have adoption of the agenda. Does any board member see any changes or additions that need to be made to the agenda this evening?
Madam President, I would like to recommend that a change to item 5.10 to eliminate action on the Broad Ripple and the Key Learning School as issues this evening, and to move 5.10 up to the first action item this evening.
Okay.
Second.
Been moved in second. Let's separate those two items out real quick. So we're gonna just get a consensus on moving 5.10 to the first item. Is that an okay consensus for the board?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then let's take action on the next request. You said you want to.
I will make a motion to amend 5.10 to table the action on Broad Ripple and Key School until it can be further investigated and discussed by the board.
We have a motion. We still have a second. All those in favor?
Can we have discussion on that first?
I'm sorry, absolutely.
why would we just separate those items? Are we saying that they aren't as important as the Gamble Short Ridge situation? Why wouldn't we just defer all of them, hear the delegates tonight, give us time to digest what's going on, and at least let our constituency have an opportunity to speak to us on all of them? That'll give us time.
My request was not based on one being more or less important. Mine was based on, I don't feel like I've got enough information on the Key School or the Broad Ripple move and what the rationale is, but I feel like we've had adequate information on the Gambold issue, so that was my rationale for requesting that we only vote on the one tonight and then have time to discuss the other two.
I would like to have time to discuss all of them.
Well, I would agree with Commissioner Arnold is that the two recommendations would actually be tabled, just have some additional questions I'd like to discuss with staff. But on the Gambold issue, I think it's more clear. It's been in discussion since 2013, and I think we should hear from the community, but I think we ought to leave it as an action item for this evening.
Well, I won't be supporting splitting those up. I feel like we should take them all as a whole, as they are a whole in the original agenda. There's no reason why we can't delay it.
Well, that's why they asked for a recommended change of the agenda.
Any other comments on this?
Call for the question.
So we still have the original motion to remove the two items to table until next month. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. So just to be clear, if anyone is here to speak tonight on behalf of Broad Ripple or the Key School, those two items have been tabled until December. You are still more than welcome to stay and speak on record if you like, but I do want to make it clear that those items will be tabled until December. Okay. And they'll have more opportunities to sign up and speak. Absolutely. Thank you. Any other additions or changes to the agenda? Okay, then we'll accept it with those changes. The next section, yeah, we will move it up in the agenda. We have is the recognition of groups in the audience. If there's anyone tonight who'd like to be represented as a group, please stand and state your name and your affiliation. Rhonda Lynn Cornett, IEA President, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Next on the agenda, we have our student performances. Oh. Come on, I'm sorry. So the Nicholas Performing Arts Academy Grace Notes Choir from school number 70 is made up of students from the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades. They have participated in the IMEA Non-Competitive Festival, as well as the Lawrence Classic Show Choir Contest, where they won second runner-up in the middle school division for the last 2 years. They've also been the top 5 finalists in the B105 Christmas Choir Radio Contest and perform annually at the Christmas Gift and Hobby Show at the Indiana State Museum Holiday Sounds program. The choir is conducted by Amber Price and accompanied by Deborah Harrison. Tonight, the Nicholas Performing Arts Academy Grace Notes Choir will be singing Let There Be Peace on Earth by Cy Miller and Jill Jackson, and I Have a Dream by Mary Donnelly and George Stride. Please welcome the Nicholas Performing Arts Academy Grace Notes Choir. Thank you, Grace Notes Choir. That was outstanding. We really appreciate you being here this evening. Next on the agenda, we have special recognitions and awards. So it is now time to turn to one of our more delightful tasks, special recognitions of some of our outstanding parents. As I call your name, please come forward. So just come to the top of the stairs, turn around and look out. And after you receive your award, just turn around and shake our hands. We'd all like to shake your hand. So as I call your name, please come forward. Tamara Gibbons, Dawn Gleason, Rebecca Klein, Ruth Lewis, and Ruth and Wayne Penrod. Principal Alicia Osler said that Miss Gibbons has been a parent volunteer at Super School number 19 for 8 years. She reports to the school every day in the mornings and afternoons. She does almost all of the copying for the teachers and staff in the building. Everyone appreciates her help. Miss Gibbons attends and volunteers at almost every event concerning Super School 19 and is involved with the Fountain Square Alliance meetings held each month. If we had more parents as involved as much as Miss Gibbons, our schools would be better places. Principal Tennille Wallace said that Miss Gleason spends countless hours volunteering at Seidner Academy. Her dedication to the school is highly recognized among the staff and students. Not only does she volunteer in the classroom, but she has also coordinated and chaired the book fair, which had its greatest success this year. Her volunteer efforts does not stop there. She was dedicated to beautifying our landscape at school and spent above and beyond the time to make sure the landscaping was completed, spending her personal time over fall break to single-handedly finish the process. We are proud to have such a wonderful parent and volunteer that we can count on to make our school an enriched environment. I'm going to read everyone, even if they're not here, because they deserve to be heard what was said about them. Principal Tennille Wallace said that Ms. Klein has demonstrated above and beyond volunteerism at Seidner Academy. She said there's not a day that goes by that Ms. Klein is not at the school. She successfully organized a Lilly Employee Service Day to assist in landscaping our school grounds. She also volunteered countless hours running the Lego Club. Ms. Klein helped in the organization of creating a successful PTO, serving time as the president and now as an active member. Her dedication does not stop there. She spends time sitting on the community committee team with the staff at Seidner Academy. Over the past 7 years, she has dedicated her time and energy to help build the success of Seidner Academy inside and outside the building. Principal Dwayne Cranbeck said that Miss Lewis is a very busy volunteer at Christian Park Elementary School number 82, faithfully serving the students and staff 5 days a week. She usually comes in between 8:30 a.m. and 11 a.m., working with various K-2 classrooms. The staff believes she is awesome and considers her to be a very valuable asset to the building. We are very thankful to have her. Principal Mark Nardo said that Mr. and Mrs. Penrod unselfishly spent the entire week of September 15th through 19th volunteering at 87's book fair. They worked every day, all day long. They even went into their own pockets to help out several students who were a little short on cash in order for those students to purchase items. They worked tirelessly in helping the parent involvement educator open and close the fair each day. The success of the book fair was in large part due to their assistance. Mrs. Penrod honorably served IPS as a Montessori classroom assistant for 29 years at schools 67 and 87. Her husband, Wayne, graciously donated his time and energy helping both schools 67 and 87, from volunteering for field trips and school events to helping set up kindergarten classrooms with life served each day. They are IPS parents, friends, and dedicated supporters of learning and teaching for all students, and we are very proud to nominate them for this Parent Community Partner Award. Principal Nardo stated, both Ruth and Wayne have taken their precious retirement time and dedicated it to School 87. It is an honor to have them work with our children and parents in the building, and we are very, very proud to call them members of the IPS George Washington Carver Montessori School 87 family. If there are any family members or friends of these wonderful volunteers in our audience, please stand now so that we may show them our appreciation.
you.
Let's give them another hand. Another wonderful task we have for this evening is special recognition of some of our outstanding community partners. As I call your name, please come forward. Art with a Heart and Donald E. Morgan with Fager, Baker & Daniels Law Firm. Principal Kathleen Miller said that Fager, Baker & Daniels has been a valuable partner for William McKinley School Number 39 for at least 15 years, according to the records at the school. Since coming to the school, Fager, Baker & Daniels has donated over $5,000 to the school, as well as office furniture and classroom supplies. They have provided anywhere from 10 to 40 volunteers each year, while providing invaluable support to teachers and students on a monthly basis. For several years, Fager, Baker & Daniels have hosted a luncheon at their downtown offices twice a year for students who meet high academic and behavior standards. They've also used student artwork on their official holiday cards, giving aspiring artists a unique publishing opportunity. This year, Fager, Baker & Daniels provided 20 volunteers on Indie Due Day, completing various projects around the school. Fager, Baker & Daniels has been and continues to be an invaluable partner who we greatly appreciate. Principal Sheila Delaski said that Art with a Heart program has been serving kindergarten scholars at Key Learning for 2 years. Each Wednesday afternoon during the school year, 6 volunteers with Art with a Heart donate their time and effort to deliver standards-driven fine arts curriculum to the 36 kindergartners at the school. Math, reading, and writing are typically incorporated into each lesson as well, as basic math and literacy skills are utilized to create artwork. This program greatly increases classroom engagement and encourages the love of learning at a very early age. We would not be able to deliver this type of program to our kindergartners on our own and are grateful to have the opportunity to work with such a program. If there are any family members or friends of these wonderful community partners in our audience, please stand now so that we may show them our appreciation. Thank you. The next item we have on the agenda is our delegations. Just want to go over a few house rules before we begin this evening. We are going with students first and then the adults, and it is in order of how you signed up. Being a school night, we decided to start with our students. We know this is an emotional process, but we ask that you respect the process. When someone else is speaking, let them speak, let them be heard, and everyone's going to have their opportunity to speak. During this process, it's going to be a long night. You may see board members get up and leave the room. Instead of taking an official break, we are just going to go back. If we need a drink, if we need to use the restroom, there are speakers in the back room. Your voice is still being heard. So if somebody leaves, don't think that they're not listening, because we still are. We just thought that'd be better than taking an official break. In the past, when we have delegates, we afford you the right to continue your speech after the 3 minutes, and tonight we're not going to be able to do that. We set a timer. Every person will have 3 minutes to be fair to everyone and respectful of everyone's time. When that buzzer goes off, we need you to be done at that moment. If you want to cut your speech shorter and leave a copy in the box, or if you have a copy you want to leave us in the box, please do so. Everything that you leave will go on official record, and we'll make sure every board member has a copy. So if it gets later in the evening and you cannot stay, you may leave a copy in the box. How I'm going to do this is we have people in the hallway lined up. They're queuing you up out there. I'm going to call the first 2 names. So we're going to have the person at the podium and then the person on deck. There's a chair beside the podium, so that second person is in line as well, just to get through this process as fast as we can without wasting your time. So with that being said, I'm going to begin with the delegations. Again, I'm calling the first 2 names, and we're going in order. The first on the list is, and I apologize ahead of time. I'm going to butcher a lot of names tonight, and I apologize. Bree Castanda, representing herself regarding the magnet proposal. The second is Brittany Gafama from Shortridge Student Body regarding the magnet move. Okay, So we're going to number 2. Brittany is here. Number 1 is not here. The next on the list is Mary Baker, Shortridge student, magnet move. As soon as you begin talking, we'll start the clock.
Good evening, Superintendent Fairbean, Board of Commissioners. My name is Brittany Gasama. I'm a senior at Shortridge Magnet High School for Law and Public Policy. During my time at Shortridge, I've been privileged to take advantage of the opportunities that the innovative partnership with IU McKinney School of Law offers Shortridge students. Opportunities such as mentorships, attending law classes, and being taught by law professors in my own school. My education has been enriched by this partnership. I have learned the importance of minorities and women in the legal profession. In fact, a very small percentage of minorities attend law school, and I am working hard to include myself in that very small percentile. I was the first IPS student to attend the Summer Legal Institute hosted by IU McKinney School of Law. Through this program, I have put into practice my advocacy, resilience, and perseverance skills. I have also taken advantage of another important opportunity offered to Shortridge students, the Life Beyond Shortridge program. Through this program, I learned the importance of professionalism and the efforts needed to become a successful attorney. I was accepted as a paid intern last summer at the law firms of Bose McKinney and Evans and Lewis and Wagner, and am currently interning at Krieg DeVault in the Intellectual Property Department, a field I aspire to pursue in the near future. This proposal puts these programs and opportunities endangered for other underprivileged students who would like to attend the Law and Public Policy program at Shortridge. This district's proposal has more to do about the real estate location and attracting a specific class who enjoy particular socioeconomic status and not enough about the opportunities that will be lost. This school district has placed priority on attracting this class of individuals instead of placing priority on solving the issues currently faced by the over 30,000 students in the IPS district. It should be the district's policy to ensure the student achievement of all of its student population in which it serves. A person truly respects someone when they are able to listen to that person's thoughts and concerns. The district has not shown proper respect to the families, students, and faculty in partnership with Shortridge Magnet High School of Law and Public Policy. This is a painful reminder of where our student population stands in priority of this administration. This proposal ignores partners and programs, stakeholders who have committed to partnering and investing their time into the innovative program currently offered at Shortridge Magnet High School for Law and Public Policy. The program provides opportunities for underprivileged students to receive an authentic learning experience that they will not receive if this program is relocated to Arsenal Technical High School. It is a shame that this district failed to inform IU McKinney School of Law and other important program partners. I strongly urge you to delay any action on proposal until our questions and concerns are answered. Why is the district more concerned with attracting a particular class of students instead of strengthening the programs and partnerships it already offers? I hope that you have not already made up your minds. Thank you.
Mary Baker.
Good evening. My name is Mary Baker, and I'm a junior at Shortridge Magnet High School for Law and Public Policy. I'm a current member of National Honor Society and completed my first semester at Butler University in the early college program. I believe that the district has failed to understand the importance of the law program in connection with the Shortridge faculties. Shortridge is truly unique, and it houses the district and state's only functioning moot courtroom in a high school. A courtroom that is the symbol of the legal profession, a symbol of justice. The proposal of the district's administration flies in the face of that justice. The magnet program, we are taught to advocate for ourselves and for those who don't have a voice. We are taught that the process to affect change, standing in that courtroom, has given me a new sense of confidence and has empowered me to stand here today. This proposal undercuts the progress and accomplishments the law magnet has achieved and would eliminate these same opportunities for future students. The proposal takes away the use of the courtroom from those students in the court class, and also the court class is a behavior and intervention class that has been used for other schools within the district. This space is used by McKinney School of Law professors to teach us the various areas of law. We also use the space to practice for mock trial, a program that has been at Shortridge for 3 years and is not and is something that will be newly introduced or gained. Finally, the space gives the law magnet identity and the opportunity to have the Indiana Court of Appeals hear oral arguments, which has been done for the past 2 years. All these opportunities will be lost if the proposal to move the magnet program to Arsenal Tech is allowed. Why would the district allow a program to devoted to law and public policy be moved to a location that does not have this important symbol or facilities? This may seem like small issues, but the moot courtroom is a symbol of our magnet program. This administration refuses to understand the importance of and the facilities as it relates to the magnet program and the history of the school in general. A history that has seen over 9 alumni elaborated to judges. A history that includes alumni who have gained national recognition as politicians. There is such a need for this program as we witness conflict between minorities and the judicial system. With respect, I ask that you make a more concerted effort to understand the importance of the facilities in relation to the magnet program. Further, our Shorridge family was born to witness to many retweets of the district's administration. There is a major disparity between the administration's support to a certain group of students and what they will have not to gain, and not enough concern of what the Shorridge families have to lose. I respectfully ask the commissioners to vote against this proposal and be the voice of the families that Shorridge needs. Thank you.
Are you Olivia?
Yes.
Okay, Olivia O'Neill, representing herself regarding the magnet move.
Good evening. My name is Olivia O'Neill. I am a junior at Shorridge Magnet High School for Law and Public Policy. I am a member of the National Honor Society. I currently rank first in the junior class, and I am completing my first semester at Butler University in the early college program. I have dedicated my high school career at Shorridge to living by 4 basic principles: leadership, character, scholarship, and service. I am very worried that all of my hard work, effort, and dedication may not result in having the opportunity to address my class as valedictorian. This proposal will make me choose to move to another school. Even though the plan does not make me move, what will I stay for? The undeveloped nature of this plan is causing undue stress and tension on myself and classmates, not knowing if certain scholarships will be available, how class rankings will be computed, offerings of magnet classes, and the status of the Butler Early College program. Last year, when the proposal was made for the IB program to share the facilities of Shorridge, it failed because the IB program wanted to run as its own school within a school. The truth is, they did not want their school accountability grade to be linked with the student population already attending the school. If the IB program was required to operate as a program within the school under one school administration, they would risk their accountability grade being lowered. This proposal answers this dilemma by displacing 700 plus students so that the IB has its own school and its grade stays intact. Every program in IPS is currently available to its entire student population. The IB program does not fit the same category. It is designed only for a small population of students, as is evident by the small number of students currently in the program. It is an elitist program designed for a certain demographic, a program that does not match the reality of our district's population. According to the proposal, there is an opportunity for us to remain in the building, but this proposal is so vague that we are unsure of what classes will be offered. Everyone is entitled to a quality education, but the IB program targets a very small and specific population, while the magnet programs accept any student interested. My fear is that I will not be accepted to the college of my choice, nor have the financial resources to afford a high-quality college education that I have earned. I urge you to delay action until we are giving more information about this proposal. Thank you.
Jacob? Is that right?
Yeah,
How do you pronounce your last name?
Charbonneau.
Jacob Charbonneau, representing self regarding the magnet move. Whenever you're ready.
All right. Good evening. My name is Jacob Charbonneau. I am here representing myself. I am a junior that attends Shorridge Magnet High School. And I want to emphasize that I am representing myself. My views are not the views of my classmates, nor the views of my school. This is simply how I am viewing the issue at hand, and I'm here to express my feelings on the magnet move, and to hopefully explain to you why this is not a productive proposal. Now, I can understand the purpose of this proposal. In fact, I am very much agree with it. I think the IB program needs to be expanded in some fashion. It is a wonderful program that can be a wonderful asset to IPS, but the way in which you're going about it will do nothing more than defeat IPS itself, simply because Shortridge is also an asset that, if moved, will no longer be one. Now, Shortridge has grown from an F school to a C school over the past 6 years. Arsenal Tech has remained a D or an F school for the past few decades. By moving a school, which will be certainly hit by a transition, we will not be able to bounce back because Arsenal Tech has capped itself at a D school. It will do nothing more than defeat the law and public policy program that we have built up at Shortridge. Now, I think that they can move into Shortridge. I think that we can share space. This proposal that failed last year, I think we could probably try and bring it up again. I'm more than willing to share my space and my school with people who are wanting to use it for good and for IPS. I mean, we can make it work, but we cannot leave our school and we cannot get rid of this asset that we have built up simply because you want to move in 164 students to a school that can hold 1,000. Hell, to tell you the truth, we have 706 from the proposal, from the PowerPoint that was presented last Tuesday. They have 164. Together, this is 870, which is less than 1,000, less than the capacity of Shortridge. We could integrate Gambled into Shortridge, not moving any students and still be fine. This would also be cost efficient, as the $4.5 million in allocations would be going to a greater number of students, and you wouldn't have to keep the Gambled building in use. Overall, this program has too many holes to be effective, and it will do nothing more than defeat IPS to allow it to continue. Thank you for your time.
Are you Rebecca?
Yeah.
Rebecca? All right, Rebecca Justice, representing herself regarding Shortridge Magnet move.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Rebecca Justice, and I'm a junior at Shortridge Magnet High School for Law and Public Policy. We go through life, and whether people want to believe it or not, we are thrown into classes. And quite a bit of these classes are decided by money anymore. The wealthy get anything they want, and they get wealthier on a daily basis, while bottom feeders take what they can get and make the best of it. The lack of respect cuts a little deeper in this situation, as a proposal hides the true vision of this administration, that of creating a school that caters to a certain socioeconomic demographic. There is a lot of interest in attracting families from the Meridian-Kessler area, an area that is dominated by a higher class of individuals, a class of individuals that currently sends their students to private or charter schools. This school district has placed a priority on attracting this class of individuals instead of placing a priority on solving the issues currently faced by the over 30,000 students in the IPS district. This district is having a serious problem with increasing the student achievement of the population. My family cannot afford private school, so of course they send us all to public school. My brother, my sister, and I have all heard people bring us down because we are in public school. I have been told that I will never be good enough and that I will never amount to anything more than my mother and father because I am in public school. But I'm a straight A student, I'm third in my class, I'm in National Honor Society, and I'm taking classes at Butler University as a 16-year-old. Now this proposal is going to take that from me because I'm not in the socioeconomic class that they want me in. My family does not make a whole lot of money, and the Gamble Prep parents are in a higher class than us. I understand when I go to township schools or other schools when I'm treated like a second-class citizen or like I'm nothing, but now IPS is my home territory. I've been in IPS since kindergarten, so are you meaning to tell me that these other IPS kids are better than me simply because their parents are in a higher class? Isn't that what private schools are for? I don't understand why I have to be downgraded and treated like I'm nothing in my own home. Upper-class people have enough, don't they? I don't even have internet to work on homework on. And now the upper class gets to take my school? That all my teachers have known me for years and they know I don't have internet. My teachers are great and work around this with me, but I'm not sure the teachers at Tech are quite as helpful like that. I have one teacher in particular that goes way out of her way to make sure that everything we have can be accessed at home without internet, because she simply likes working with middle and lower class kids. I don't believe in letting anyone treat me badly.
Shortridge is my home. I've been there for 6 years. I refuse to let someone come into my home and tell me that I'm lower and that they are better than me. There is no way you are coming to my house to tell me that I'm not good enough. Thank you for your time.
Are you Isaac?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have Isaac Vaught, representing Gamble Prep students regarding the magnet move. Whenever you're ready.
Good evening. My name is Isaac Vaught, and I'm a junior at Gamble Preparatory Magnet High School. In the midst of a controversial change such as this, concerns over diversity are understandable. As someone who has been an IPS student for over a decade now, I have been able to come to appreciate the diverse range of students that surrounds me every day. What I've also come to appreciate, however, is the greatest level of diversity I've ever encountered, which is at Gamble Prep. Living in a time where people are more connected and mixed together than ever before, we must come to accept that the world no longer exists in small, isolated pockets. In our own small population, we contain an extremely diverse range of ethnic, cultural, and socioeconomic backgrounds. Such backgrounds span the globe, including countries such as Nepal, China, Nigeria, Mexico, Ireland, Vietnam, Brazil, Germany, Eritrea, Spain, France, and Sudan. While I understand that diversity certainly is an issue in many places, Gamble Prep student body is not one of them. Thank you.
Are you Alan?
Yes, I am.
Alan Wright, Shortridge students regarding the magnet move.
Lady and gentlemen of the school board, my name is Alan Wright. I'm a National Honor Society member, and I'm also in the Butler Early College program. Moving Gamble to Shortridge, the population of Gamble is roughly 10% of what the capacity of Shortridge can hold. So in that case, why would you move 10% when we already have 70%? And if their program isn't flourishing in their own high school, what makes you think that it's going to flourish? Yes, while it is a more central location, it's not going to flourish if it can't flourish at their own place. Shortridge can hold roughly 1,200 students, and moving the 706 students, 300 high schoolers over to Tech would put us in the midst of Tech, while moving the law magnet over there, that includes us with all their other magnets. The reason Shortridge is so special to all the Shortridge students is because the law magnet is specifically at Shortridge. We have a courtroom that's utilizing that facility. If you move the Gamble program, the Gamble IB program over to Shortridge, there is no use for that courtroom that we built and spent so much time on. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you Jalen?
Yes.
All right, Jalen Vaughn, representing Gamble Prep students regarding the magnet move.
Hello, my name is Jalen Vaughn, and I would like to thank you for letting me speak. I'm a member of the National Honor Society, a cadet of the Civil Air Patrol, treasurer for my student council. Throughout my school career, my mom has always made sure to the best of her ability that I've gone to an educationally strong school. I thank IPS for a second chance in my educational life by allowing me to be included in the Gamble Prep community and camaraderie. I have experienced both the positive and negative spectrums of life. In my middle school years, I was involved in legal troubles that were painful, but overcoming the situation has led me to become the moral and ethical person I am today. No matter what has happened in my life, I am grateful to have gone through each experience. With the skills that I have acquired at Gamble, I feel confident that I will be able to help my family and overcome the same struggles I myself have conquered. I hope that all students who are involved or have been involved in hardships are able to experience the IB program, which encourages you to transcend your own individual life experiences and connect with the community, global community. Gamble Prep is an extremely successful melting pot of cultures that come together to become aware and respectful towards all ways of living. An IB program inside of Shortridge will continue a legacy of educational excellence of that institution and result in more students reaching their potential and become benevolent citizens. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you. You are not Marisol, so you are Javier.
Yes.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
Buenos días, me llamo Javier Arellano y estoy hablando al nombre de Gamble Prep High School. That was in Spanish, my second language. Well, the first language I learned, and now we'll introduce myself in English. Hello, my name is Javier Arellano, and I will be speaking on behalf of Gamble Prep. Gamble Prep is a diverse school community. Our population is not predominantly white, as has been suggested. Our school is multiracial and is actually about half African American and about 1/4 white and about 1/4 Hispanic. Our move to Shortridge is to benefit all IPS students. The goal of the IB program, moving to Shortridge, is to benefit all the people in IPS who are looking for a rigorous program to prepare them for college. The new IB school at Shortridge will obviously be bigger and allow for more students to join the program. This will in turn allow for more classes to be offered and help the school grow. Another part that is being mentioned is keeping Shortridge and its programs the same, but also integrating the IB. The reason this would not work is because our school works the way it does because everyone in the school is following the same standards and curriculum. The school is not a school within a school. It is its own IB school. An all IB school promotes rigor in all classes and incorporates service and special tasks like the personal projects that all students do. This works best if all students are in the IB program. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Are you Destiny?
No.
Aliyah?
Yes, Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, thank you so much. Aaliyah Coe, representing Gambold Student Body regarding the proposed move. Whenever you're ready.
Correct. Well, first off, I want to thank everyone for letting me come and talk on this topic. My name is Aaliyah Coe, and I go to Gamble Prep. I'm a junior. I'm in the National Honor Society. This move would allow all high school students to receive a quality education in a program that has provided educational goals. The move would attract more students and provide them with a great education that is accessible for everyone. Having better access to great schools would increase the student population and parent involvement. A central location would result in more parent involvement and a great high school. We are a team and we need our parental support. This move is not for Gamble Prep alone. This move is for all IPS students. This will affect everyone, and we understand that. We will not only want Shortridge students to be able to join our IB community. We want all students in IPS to have this opportunity. If students don't want to join our program, we understand that, and that's okay. We just want to make sure they have that option. Coming from a middle-class family, I'm grateful for the education that I have, and I don't have to pay an arm and a leg for it. Some argue that this move was taking away opportunities, but sometimes you have to take away opportunities in order to provide better ones. In conclusion, please understand that this move is not only for the students at Gamble Prep, but for all students in IPS seeking a rigorous high school education. It is not fair that students are being left out due to the fact that Gamble Prep's location is not suitable for a larger amount of students. Move us and let us grow. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm number 13, Destiny McMiller.
And you're Destiny. Okay. Thank you, Destiny. Whenever you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Destiny McMiller, and I'm a sophomore at Shortridge Magnet High School for Law and Public Policy. I'm here to express my position on the movement. Many of you here today have heard what parents or teachers or board members have had to say, but has anybody stopped to ask to say, or what have the kids or the ones that will be affected by the movement have had to say? I'm not only a cheerleader at Shortridge, but I'm a member of the Thin Blue Line, or for short, TBL. TBL, a program that only Shortridge can offer, is where we basically train to become cadets and learn more and get more involved about the law so we can have a better understanding about the law, because I want to be a forensic scientist. And for me to do so, I have to know about the law and be able to understand it. And TBL shows me how. We actually have a field trip we retake, and we actually investigate a fake crime scene that they set up. And not to forget that this is a program that only Shortridge can offer. So by taking away the law and public policy and moving to tech, you will also be taking away TBL. And this will affect me in a large way. The thing I have built with my teachers, I've been there since the 7th grade, and moving me in my sophomore year will affect not only my education, but the character development I've got from my teachers I've actually built a bond with, such as coaches or counselors. That's all I have to say, but that's it.
Thank you, Destiny. You are Lawam?
Yes, Lawam
Okay.
Gebrselassie.
All right, representing Gambold Prep regarding diversity. Whenever you're ready.
كما يوريلكم أنا لوام جبرسلاسي بحال نا جنبل تمرتي تمهاريت إيه هجي بزعبا وكا كزار بكوية
That was my one of two native languages. I will now introduce myself in English. Good evening. My name is Luam Gebre Salasa, and I will be speaking on behalf of Gambled Prep. Until the situation that questions Gambled Prep's diversity came up, I had never taken the time to think about how diverse Gambled Prep is. You would assume our generation would look past that, and that's what I have done. I see the scholars at Gambled Prep not for their physical appearances, but for their character, their attitude, and what they bring to our school. When I asked about our demographics, I was told our school is 42% African American, and about a quarter each Hispanic and white, and 10% multiracial. Although the demographics doesn't really concern me, I realized having different cultures and ethnicities in our school not only makes us a diverse school, but also supports our International Baccalaureate program. We may not have students all the way from Australia, but we have students who come from different backgrounds, ethnic groups, and traditions. That's what makes Gambled Prep simply Gambled Prep. Obviously then, Gambled Prep is an ethnically diverse school, but does that really matter? The definition of diversity is a range of different things. It is more important to have a school that has a range of different skin colors or a range of different knowledge-seeking minds. This is what we need to consider as students, staff, and parents when we decide the future for Indianapolis Public Schools. Thank you.
Are you Jasper?
Yes, I am.
Jasper Tony, representing Gambled Prep regarding the move to Shortridge.
Yes, I am. First of all, I want to express my gratitude for the ability to speak on behalf of the Gambled Prep faculty and the student body. I also want to thank you board members for the opportunity to express my opinions on this pressing situation. I guess I'll start off with a little anecdote of my life. During my elementary school career, I was a horrid child. I never turned in my work, and I was always the loudest in class. Suspended several times and just on the wrong track. Since I've attended Gambled Prep, I have changed my lifestyle. Now I am a successful student with a solid work ethic. The International Baccalaureate changed me into a dedicated and well-rounded student. For nearly 3 years now, Gambled Prep has established a beautiful, open-minded, and small community. Unfortunately, the facility that we are currently in is designed for a middle school building. As you all know, we do face many issues due to the fact that it is a middle school facility. However, that should not deter the education that is being provided. I believe that if we relocate to Shortridge School Building, more students will begin to attend our school and receive a quality education. The Ivory program is challenging and rigorous. In the state of Indiana, the highest diploma that one can receive is the International Baccalaureate diploma. More colleges will recognize a student if he or she receives the IB diploma. I don't want to just relocate because our facility at Gamble is limited. I want to relocate because I want education to be redefined and improved. I wish for all students in Indianapolis to have a chance at the same opportunities that I have. Sorry, I'm not the best of speakers, but thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I'm going to have you introduce yourself. Your name, I can't pronounce it.
Abu Bakr Abdel Malik. Abu Bakr Abdel Malik.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. That was my native culture, my native language, and my native culture. My name is Abu Bakr Abdel Malik, and I'll be speaking on behalf of Gambled Prep High School. Moving Gambled Prep to Shortridge would enhance education for all scholars. Moving opens up a plethora of doors for developing education, as well as extracurricular activities, and the common good of parents, teachers, and students. For example, most of our students would be able to get to school faster and more conveniently if it were to be more accessible at central location. A bigger facility would also include bigger fields, gyms, classrooms, and a need for those to attend Gambled Prep. Not only that, but a move would also support diversity. We are a multicultural school. We have students that speak so many different languages, including English, Arabic, French, and Spanish, and people from all over the world have already ended up in Gambled because of its reputation as a quality school. Imagine how many more people would attend Gambled if it went in a more attractive location. The school would grow by attracting scholars from all over the IPS district and beyond. In closing, I hope that Gambled Prep will have the opportunity to serve greater population and meet its potential, a top world school. Thank you.
Thank you. And are you Donna? Yes. Okay, I'd just like to say everyone's doing a great job. This is not easy to do, especially for students. I'm really impressed. Take a deep breath, speak into the microphone. Everybody's doing great. This is Donna Johnson representing Gamble Prep regarding the relocation. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, hello, my name is Donna Johnson, and our principal, Shane O'Day, has always taught us that actions speak louder than words. I personally believe that Gamble Prep's reputation has already spoken for itself. We are a spirited community, determined on bettering ourselves as well as the larger communities around us. A community is a diverse aspect of society meant to bond people of different social classes, races, and backgrounds. Gamble, being a community, is a boiling pot of all races, religions, and languages. We are a microcosm representing not only Indiana, but the world. And as a community, the goal of our school is to be able to develop and be open to anybody seeking to get a quality education. Our current location is preventing us from doing so. However, now we have the opportunity to fix this. By relocating to Shortridge, a myriad of possibilities would open up for us, which we currently do not have the resources to support. For example, we could have access to an auditorium in order to host events and accompany our music and drama programs. Another problem that would be solved is the recurrent complaint of location from countless families in countless neighborhoods. By centralizing our school, Gamble will become more accessible for scholars and staff already present. In addition, we'd be able to introduce more students to our IB program, causing a spike in the Gamble Prep population. Relocation to Shortridge would not only benefit us as a school, but IPS as a school district. Essentially, a larger centralized IB school would attract more students to IPS and ensure higher test scores in conjunction with large graduation rates, therefore improving the reputation of IPS. In conclusion, I believe I speak for the common good of parents and scholars when I say, all we want to do is find an environment that serves justice to our initial purpose of improving the inner community as well as the outside community. Our chief goal is making learning attainable and accessible for everybody who desires it. As of now, the most efficient way to achieve this goal is relocating Gamble to a more centralized, suitable location. So I ask respectfully that before voting tonight, you consider the proposal designed to benefit our school and all of IPS.
Thank you. Are you Jade?
Yes, ma'am.
Jade Stiles, representing Gamble student body regarding the magnet proposal. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jade Stiles. I'm currently a junior at Gamble Prep and president of the National Honor Society. I'd like to thank the school board for allowing me the opportunity to speak on this issue today, because it's important to me that this larger issue isn't made just about our school, and that the allegations about Gamble Prep are addressed. At Gamble Prep, we have a diverse community full of different cultures. Many of us are on the bus for an hour or more because we bus to most parts of the city. People choose to be on the bus for this long because the quality of education is worth it. There have been allegations our school is majority Caucasian and wealthy, but that isn't true. We have diverse demographics from all socioeconomic statuses. At our school, discrimination by race or any other factor just isn't something that happens, because we all respect each other and we know why we're here, which is for one reason, to receive higher education. We have a strong focus on connecting our inner community with the outer community by giving back, using the skills we're lucky enough to learn and acquire. The presence of Gamble in the Shortridge area would help the surrounding neighborhood flourish and make the travel for many of us to get to school much shorter. This move isn't about just us. It doesn't just affect Gamble students. This isn't about taking something away. It's about creating something greater for the community. Gamble Prep is a school of respect, compassion, and unique opportunity derived from our mutual desire for knowledge. And everyone in IPS should have the opportunity to be a part of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you Tyler?
Yep.
Whenever you're ready.
Hello, my name is Tyler Ivy, and I would like to thank you guys for allowing me to speak. I am a junior at Gamble Preparatory Magnet High School. I am Vice President of Student Government, and I'm also Vice President of National Honor Society. I was a part of the first freshman class at Gamble Prep, and one of the first few things that we were told was Gamble is a temporary location for the IB High School. As the first full IB High School in IPS, we knew that one day we were going to move into a high school building with more space, better facilities, and more opportunities. What we have now doesn't give us that. Our building was originally a middle school before it became a magnet school, and it didn't fit the needs of what we wanted then as a school of 54 students. And now, as a school of 164 students, with another class of freshmen arriving next year, moving into a bigger building is needed now more than ever. We always strive to do our best, starting out as a school with all new staff, an all new curriculum, and with hardly anyone who knew anything about the IB was difficult. But that didn't stop us. In the first year, 100% of all Algebra 1 students passed the Algebra 1 ECA. In the second year, 98% of all students who did the English 10 ECA passed. And now receiving a letter state grade of an A by the state shows how far we worked as a community. It's also more centrally located for students like me who spend over 2 hours on the buses or 3 hours on Indigo. Transportation to and from school. And when we participate in an array of extracurricular activities like I do, then it's not uncommon to get home anywhere from 9 to 11 o'clock at night. Moving us to Shortridge not only fulfills what some of us have been working for, but it provides an opportunity for students who aren't enrolled in an IB curriculum to be a part of an IB community.
Thank you. Are you Lana?
Yes.
I'm Caitlin, representing Gamble regarding the magnet move.
你好，我是 Lana， 我现在代表我的学校发言。That was Chinese, my first language. Now I will introduce myself in English. Hi, I'm Lana Catlin, and I'm speaking on behalf of Gamble Prep. I graduated from CFA 84, and now I am a freshman at Gamble Prep. I started learning English about 2 years ago. The IB program really supported me in my education. I didn't really want to go to Gamble at first because it's such a small high school, but I went to Gamble where my parents wanted me to go. I really like the IB program and how the school is organized. I wish Gamble had an ESL program, a bigger gym, and more students. If we move to Shortridge, all of these hopes will come true. For example, a bigger school will attract more ESL students who want a good education. Also, I play volleyball, and our gym is so small it's hard to serve the ball without crossing the line. Finally, I would like a bigger school so I can meet new people and make more friends. But I also know that more students are so important to keep Gamble running for years to come. I want my little sister to follow in my footsteps and keep being an IB learner at Shortridge High School.
Are you Mahogany? Okay. Mahogany Turner, representing Gamble students regarding magnet proposal.
Hello, my name is Mahogany Turner, and thank you to the school board for allowing me to speak today on the topic that affects me and all of IPS. My whole life, I have been in a traditional IPS schools that weren't a good fit for me, but this last year, I came to Gamble Prep as a junior. I have been exposed to an amazing curriculum that is challenging and pushing me to do better in life through the IB program, which is, in my opinion, the best college preparatory program. With the larger school, it will allow more people to experience this program and be able to receive a solid education, preparing them for not only college, but life as well.
Thank you very much. Are you Ismar?
Yes.
Okay, representing yourself regarding the Shortridge move. Whenever you're ready.
Greetings to the school. Greetings to the members of Indianapolis Public Schools School Board. My name is Ismar Chia. I'm a freshman at Shortridge High School for Law and Public Policies. I'm here today in order to try to persuade you to see my perspective on this situation. Firstly, imagine you're a student at Shortridge. You are excited about taking law classes. Then you find out how you will be going to Arsenal Tech. Not only that, but you will be sharing a campus with about 4 other schools. Yes, it is a big campus, but big enough for about 4,000 students. Not to mention, Tech is known to be for its behavior issues, not to be rude to any Tech students or faculty. Then you find out that the Gamble IB program is moving to Charlotte. It's going with about 164 students, and it's moving to a school that now holds over 700 students. Then you remember that Gamble has tried to move into Shortridge as a building in the past, and while the school board was interviewing and deciding on a new superintendent, Dr. Fairby, Gamble also adjust the movement of Gamble into the Shortridge building. And last week, on Monday, I found out at 7:30 that there will be a meeting about the Gamble moving into Shortridge. It's the next day, November 11th. and I had less than 24 hours notice. Now, again, imagining yourself as a student, wouldn't you be concerned or even a little bit mad about this, especially considering no one has asked the students at Shortridge about this until now, and well, I don't know about Gamble because I don't go at Gamble IB program, but no one had really told the students at Shortridge much of anything. Again, the information I know I've had to research and it was rather hard to find, unfortunately. Now, does this seem fair that 104 or 164 students can kick out over 700 students basically because most of them have better grades? Hey Joe, because they want an area with room and with an area with more room and a richer history. Hey, what about the law program? We are fine, we are at so move us to a school that already has about 18,000 students. Why should Gamble get our location that is so full of history and prestige that Gamble lacks? Why should we be forced to give up our history that... Oh.
We have to cut you off, Ismart.
Okay.
Leave that for us, okay? We'll put it into public
Yes.
record. Thank you very much. You did a good job. And are you Jessica?
Yes.
Jessica Felker, representing Gamble regarding the proposal.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Felker. Thank you to the school board for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. Since I was little, my mom has taught me I can be anything I want to be. I learned later in life that I have to work hard to obtain my dreams. Life with my mom was not easy. I learned to be independent. I had to fight for my right to a quality education. When I moved to Indianapolis the summer of my sophomore year, I was looking at a variety of new schools. I came to the open house for Gamble and was offered a high-class education for free. I saw a community that was close with each other and very diverse. Being raised in foster care, I was introduced to many different cultures, and it is important to me to have a diverse surrounding, and Gamble Prep offered this. It is my dream to become a surgeon, and I want to see more people to have the ability to reach their dreams. An IB education is the first step towards reaching your dreams. IPS should support the move of Gamble to Shortridge to allow growth of the IB program and more opportunities for other IPS students to reach their dreams as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And next, Corey, is that you?
Yes.
Okay, Corey Brazelton, representing Gamble regarding the proposal.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Corey Brazelton. I am a student at Gamble Prep. GP has given me the opportunity to reach my potential as a well-rounded and educated scholar. I've been constantly nagged to be as smart as I can be by my parents and my teachers. At the rate I was going, I would have graduated high school and gone to college. However, now I realize that the real goal isn't just getting accepted at college, but graduating from college and leading a successful life. There was a high probability that I would have dropped out of college and wasted money. Why? Because of my work ethic. I had a knack for doing the minimum classwork because I didn't have to listen to the teachers. Just by listening to what they were talking about in the class, I got all A's on my tests. But Gamble Prep challenges each student to go far and beyond the minimum and will give the same opportunity to any new student who enters the school, no matter what his or her race or social background. Moving to Shortridge will benefit the community, students, faculty, and me. Scholars will have more chances to interact with each other and do community service. Other advantages include a bigger student body, more programs, more after-school activities, a central area for all students, a variety of different classrooms, the development of the NYP and DP curricula, and more important opportunities for traveling classrooms. Traveling classrooms give Gamble students the chance to go to different learning environments like Butler University for 2 complete school days on which we run our normal schedule so that we don't lose any class time. All of these things will help GP grow as an IB school with the support of the board, the superintendent, the students, and the parents, and the Indianapolis community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those were all of our student delegates, and I'd like to say I'm really proud of our students tonight. They did a fact, they did so great. Let's let the students be an example tonight of how the adults should handle themselves, because the students handled themselves with grace. Okay? Our first delegate of the evening is Mary Jeerling, representing herself. Same rules apply to the adults with the timer, and whenever you're ready.
Thank you for coming out and listening to all the public today, and especially to the students that are most impacted by these changes that are being proposed. Tonight I wanted to speak about accountability and transparency. The first is accountability towards the stakeholders. The timing of this announcement was not appropriate. And it was also against IPS's policy concerning closure and redistricting of schools. The detailed website PowerPoint presentation was not on the website as of 2:30 the day of briefing, so 24-hour public notice was not given. There's also a huge disparate impact that I'm very concerned about as a parent, a concerned citizen of Indianapolis, specifically the special needs populations for Shortridge students. There's a huge population there that is going to be greatly impacted if you move them to a larger school. There's also, for me, my daughter, I just moved to Shortridge the Tuesday after Halloween. And then a week later to be told that her choice, because I involved her in that choice, is going to be taken away from her. But more importantly, I'm very concerned that our community, the students, the teachers, the parents, the volunteers, and all the organizations in the IPS community are not talking about the real reasons why we're here today. And that is the falsities of our students, our teachers, and our schools falsely being labeled as failing based on high-stakes standardized tests, and in which Phil Harris, who wrote The Myth of Standardized Testing, is now stating that the ISTEP test is not even standardized. So it's not reliable, it's not validly statistically, but yet we are making decisions as local school boards, as state school boards, as our federal government on the funding and how we treat our children. Our children are being taught to the test. They are not learning. They're doing worksheets. My daughter is in a half an hour a day test prep period. And her learning is being defaulted. It is being defrauded. And I'm mad about it. And we have got to stand up, and we have got to come together as a community and say, this is not right. This is unethical. It is unethical by the testing profession's own joint standards that say that you do not assess a child using one assessment. And every single professional teacher knows this. Every single professional school administrator knows this. But this is what we're doing as a society. So I'm asking, what is IPS board going to do to bring the community together to discuss these things?
Thank you. Next we have is Rebecca Zernheld, representing her children regarding the move.
Good evening. Every child deserves access to a quality education. I am an IPS parent in support of an IB high school program moving from the Gamble building to Shortridge because I believe in the IPS Magnet Choice Program philosophy as published on our website. It states, a magnet program offers families the opportunities to choose a specialized curriculum that enables students to engage with additional resources and innovative techniques that focus on their individual talents and interests. IPS's current IB high school can, should, and does offer these additional resources and innovative techniques. I know this because one of our sons is in his second year at Gamble, earning an outstanding education. I also know that at Gamble, the IB curriculum serves a lot of different learners, including students that receive some special education support and accommodations. They are part of the 18% of all kids who go to IPS who need support to pursue and earn a high school diploma. I know this because it's personal. Our other son received an outstanding K-8 education at IPS School 91 because special education and general education teachers at IPS 91 believe that every child deserves access to a quality education. The administration and faculty at Gambled have been working with us for over a year to transition our other son, this son, to Gambled. The IB curriculum can, should, and does provide an opportunity for a great education for kids with special needs who want to work hard. Again, from our IPS Magnet Choice philosophy on our website. Magnet schools recruit students with a high interest in their programs, good academic and attendance records, and a willingness to work hard in these programs. Moving the IPS IB Magnet from Gambled to Shortridge is personal and political for our family and our community. We want IPS to educate all of our children just as we want to eat at a restaurant that serves every member of our family. Each child in IPS is promised a fair and appropriate education under the law. This move can increase access to a quality and supportive IPS high school that educates a more diverse community, including students with learning disabilities. We support the proposed involvement of Butler University's Education Department in an IPS IB high school located at Shortridge because we know that this will put more educators into the equation, and with more of this collaboration, more students like our son will have access to a great curriculum. A final quote from the IPS Magnet Choice Program philosophy on our website. Families are encouraged to become actively involved in choosing the instructional program most appropriate for their children's interests and abilities. We are here tonight because we believe the IPS IB high school program is the most appropriate program for both of our sons. We want IPS to offer increased access to a fair and appropriate education to every student in the IPS community, and moving the IPS IB high school to Shortridge will do just that. Thank you.
Good evening. Hi. My name is Kirk Lawrence, and I am proud to have a daughter, Bree, who goes to Shortridge and already has great passion for law and public policy. From the first time we toured Shortridge, when we met with Dr. Cochran, our experience has been nothing short of outstanding. From his leadership and mentoring, to the front office staff, to all of our teachers, it's been an excellent academic experience. Then last Monday evening, when we first heard of the proposed magnet moves, we were convinced that the rights of the many would never be bullied for the rights of the few. Now, however, just 8 days later, there is a doom and gloom that the Shortridge community will have to turn in a lot of spiritware because your board is now just 4 yes votes away from putting some great exodus into place. IPS stands to lose out on the last best chance you will have to turn the tide and create 21st century functional education that will get our students hired, promoted, and into leadership positions. That's what Shortridge can still be. I propose a better idea that has not been given any serious discussion or debate. This could afford IPS the chance to create the first real urban super school, where 3 magnets combined and growing under 1,000 students will still not stretch the resources and assets of this historic Shortridge High School. Surely, there are many educational egos that should be pushed aside so that all 3 needed modern magnet academic disciplines will flourish together. Because remember, it is a churning and rising tide that will raise all boats. And the boats we speak of here are our children at IPS. Don't let this end tonight with 4 yes votes that will renew old and stale vitriol regarding rich versus poor, black versus white, or suburban versus urban, or the belief that IPS might just never get it together. Please vote no on this rushed, divisive magnet redesign and open up more discussion and a decision on the first IPS super school for the 21st century. Bree, my beautiful daughter, says it's time that we make the suburbs jelly of us. So please think inclusion, not exclusion now. To unite now, not divide this. And that, again, a rising tide lifts our kids. Thank you.
For the record, this gentleman was speaking for his daughter, who I assume couldn't be here tonight, Bree Castanda. Next up, we have Dawn. Is that correct? Dawn
Yes, ma'am.
Austin, representing herself regarding the relocation of Gamble. Whenever you're ready.
Dear Commissioner, Superintendent Farabee, I am here today as a mother, a grandmother, an IPS graduate, an IPS mother of 2 graduates, though I will be speaking to you today on behalf of my granddaughter Jordan, who is 5 years old and she's in kindergarten. She's enrolled in the Alante Academy, a charter school located inside the same building as Gamble Prep. As a grandmother, I am actively in Jordan's life, thus I have the unique insight of the staff and students of the program at Gamble Prep. I have already begun to speak to Jordan about the value of education and how she can focus on being a good person just like the big kids at high school. Gamble Prep has a unique culture in the issues, academics, and the service of the students, and the students are polite, respectful, accountable for their actions. This is the type of school I wish for Jordan to attend when she enrolls in high school. If you have not visited Gamble Prep, I strongly encourage you to do so. I am in support of this proposal because it allows students at Gamble Prep greater access to high school activities, facilities, showcases, and great things could happen at Gamble Prep. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Alfinia Gassama, representing Shortridge regarding the move. Whenever you're ready.
Good evening. My name is Alfina Gassama, and I am a proud parent of 2 students at Shortridge Magnet High School for Law and Public Policy. I come here tonight to assert my voice for the many students who are so passionate about our school and the benefits it has afforded them. Let me begin by saying that I teach my children 2 valuable lessons. It's not always about what you know, but who you know, and politics is everything. With that being said, my spirit was very unsettled after the November 11, 2014 school board meeting. First, forgive the passion of our Shortridge parents and students at the November 11, 2014 meeting. Unfortunately, we were not notified of the agenda items that affect our school until Monday evening, November 10th, and that attempt was inaudible by our superintendent due to the low volume at which the message was recorded. We were notified Tuesday afternoon by our painfully upset children pleading that we parents do something to save their school, their legacy, their alma mater. Had we parents been notified on Thursday, then we could have had our voices heard. There's an old saying, nothing comes to sleepers but a dream. Well, thank you, IPS School Board, Superintendent Farabee, and Gamble Prep for waking me up. Parents, I want you to know that this is what our political influences thrive on, our uninvolvement. So here we are fighting for our school again. Parents, ask yourself, how is it that a school with 164 students can overtake a school with 706 students in a blink of an eye and dictate that our 706 students be moved to another school and not populated with theirs? Are we not good enough to rub elbows with their students? Is it because of socioeconomics or threats to retreat back to their suburban roots? We are here. See us. Listen to us. Understand that bullying is a no-tolerance policy in IPS, so why does Gamble Prep get a green light? I've seen the numbers that have been posted here for our eyes to see, but have we as Shortridge parents really studied them for our own understanding? We are told that this move would save money, but we're not told how it would save money. Moving students to tech would involve a cost. Moving 164 Gamble students to tech would certainly be cheaper than moving 706 Shortridge students to tech, don't you think? So what really is the cost savings, or is this another facade to deter us? Why is it so necessary for Gamble's 164 students to take over a school with a capacity of 1,150 students? Why isn't Gamble moving to tech? Their facilities and campus are so much larger than ours. Or perhaps Gamble Prep wants to be exclusive.
Cut you off. I apologize. If you want to leave that for public record, you take that off. Thank you. Next, Rochelle Brent, representing her children regarding the magnet move. Whenever you're ready.
Warm salutations to you all. How nice it was years ago when I attended inner city schools here in Indianapolis, with a broad learning curve amongst a rainbow of eager people. IPS helped mold me into the true lifelong learner with an understanding that new information from the minds of the handsomely endowed was golden. One of the most valued tools I gleaned from inner city education was communication with those who were not a carbon copy of me. Humans are a beautiful bouquet of flowers, tall, short, delicate, wild, thin, wide, complex, simple, and of course with multiple hues. With this said, these have all a connected stem that need drink from the waters of education to survive the future from day to day. My memory of IPS is, come all and learn, for knowledge is freedom. Again, I say thank you, IPS, for a positive experience. I later accomplished an education degree from Butler University. Merci beaucoup. And now I hope that you will lend me a few more moments to express a recent concern with Shortridge Magnet School, in which my husband and I have 4 children who presently attend. I can't help but to express my deep sadness upon hearing that a very small learning forum of less than 150 pupils are endeavoring to assume the building, displacing more than 700 students and faculty who have been through immense adjustments and discomforts at high speeds throughout the last decade. Dr. Law, faculty, and students have worked very hard and are now operating and servicing children from homes with multiple students and varied abilities. Gifted, average, and challenge reflect the greater population of Shortridge's geographical location. Shortridge is their school, and they have assimilated. I hope very sincerely that those with influence and decision power will dig deep into the heart of the matter and ask one question. Is this desire to remove hundreds of students and prod them into another unfamiliar, overcrowded, herd-style facility, as they will again try and find their way in a panic to locate lost pieces to life's worth as graduation appears even more difficult? Could this be a subtle mandate of eminent domain as a result of class entitlement, teaching our children of tomorrow that the pick of picks is theirs even when it's not a choice because it's clearly someone else's? Perhaps we should redefine gifted and talented. We must truly understand and grasp how to treat our fellow man, who we will abide on earth with until the end of time. Do we really have a superior superhighway of learning for the advance when we use them as our push-button clearance remedy to assume a building unfairly, whose funding was rendered to these students for years of attendance and used for building enhancements? Whatever the decision is made, remember it will leave lasting impressions on thousands of Indianapolis natives, and most importantly, to our future generation of how we acquire the things we covet. When do we define education as primarily high achievers, and that the students without these borders have little value and a voice of little importance?
Thank you, Ms. Brent. Next, we have Jenny Ellis, representing Shortridge Community Organization Life Beyond Shortridge, regarding the magnet proposal.
Thank you. And in the spirit of education, I'm going to do a show and tell today. It's important to what I have to say. I know that you feel like you have all the information to make a decision, as was expressed earlier tonight, but I am concerned that you don't. I'm the director of a program called Life Beyond Shortridge. The LIFE stands for Leaders in Firms Emerging. I'm a member of an association called Association of Legal Administrators, who are 10,000 members strong. So 80 members in the Indianapolis chapter. We manage law firms. And we set about deciding that we didn't want to just pay taxes and vote. We wanted to enhance the IPS experience. I'm a true believer in the IPS experience. So we set about doing that. We created a program to teach students about jobs in law firms and to train them to be hired by law firms. This is an award that was received in May in Toronto. It's an international award for an innovative idea that is a true partnership, a public-private partnership. The funding has all been through public monies and public donations and public time and effort. This program is very specifically designed to the Shortridge Magnet School of Law and Public Policy. It is why we chose that school. We looked at many different criteria as we were making the decision of who to partner with. We spent 5 years creating and implementing this program. We spent $35,000, and we thought we would be at Shortridge for years to come, and I hope that we will be at Shortridge for years to come. I do not want to see this program dismantled, nor do I want to see the culture that exists at Shortridge dismantled. We looked at the facility, the location, the faculty, the curriculum, the demographics, the student population. All of those things are very important to us and to the people who come into the school and volunteer. We're very vested in this program. It is not a cookie cutter program that we can just pick up and take to tech. We have on-site workshops twice a month. We teach the students about leadership, professionalism, resume writing, interviewing skills, conflict resolution, business and personal budgeting, teamwork, preparing for college, listening skills. We participate in joint community service projects. We have a very holistic approach, feeding both the mind and the body. We provide nutrition packs for every student at every meeting. We've worked with well over 100 students, and it's a passion that we have. We do not want to see this go away. I'll tell you a little bit about our successes. We have provided 36 paid summer internships in law firms and the Bar Association. That's no small feat. Each of those students' lives have been enriched by that opportunity. We have also been able to provide continued employment for some of those students. I ask that you consider leaving Shortridge as it is.
Thank you. Next, we have Dale Ogden representing his students in Seidner and Gamble Prep. Whenever you're ready.
My name is Dale Ogden. I am Chief Curator at the Indiana State Museum. My wife Karen is Director of the YMCA branches at the Athenaeum and at the Indy Bike Hub at City Market. We wish to support the proposed magnet redesign. Our daughter Hannah attended the Center for Inquiry IPS School 84 from grades 2 through 8. She is currently a sophomore at Heron High School. Our son Alex attended CFI 84 for 6 years and is now a 7th grader at Seidner Academy for high ability students. As longtime supporters of IPS, in 2011 we attended a public forum led by Dr. White. Although Hannah was in 7th grade at that time, we wished to explore options for continuing her education within the IB program in which she had already achieved considerable success. At that session, Dr. White expressed confidence that Gamble would enroll 150 students per class, with CFI and Montessori schools and Seidner Academy providing the vast majority of those scholars. That projection was soon lowered to 100 students per class. Of Hannah's 20 classmates at CFI 84, 2 enrolled at Gamble, with most others choosing either Heron or North Central high schools. Karen and I preferred to continue Hannah's education within the program, and like most parents in the IB community, we did not ask for secondary school to be placed next door. We simply request the school not be located at a prohibitive distance from our homes, our work, our churches, and our communities. When this did not occur, and with Heron close at hand, we reluctantly abandoned the path we had hoped to take. We understand the anxiety this plan has created among some families in other affected schools. We trust that IPS will continue to offer quality opportunities in neighborhoods that are part of this reform, including the district currently being served by Gamble High School. Nonetheless, an IBM curriculum-based secondary school was never envisioned as a neighborhood school, but rather was intended to be a centrally located facility which would provide an equal access to all qualified Indianapolis public school students, regardless of race, economic condition, religion, or ethnic background. The current plan appears to be a well-considered and positive step forward for IPS. The stated goal of efficient operations, better facility utilization, attractive secondary operations, and a streamlined choice of offerings should result. IPS desperately needs a standalone school that can demonstrate unequivocally that the system has the faculty, the students, the facilities, and the will to provide a public education on par with any course of study offered by Indianapolis's finest private schools. An IB secondary school that is fed by the various IB elementary schools will provide this opportunity. Programs at Broad Ripple, Attic, Shortridge, and other schools represent a quantum leap forward in IPS's quest to provide quality opportunities for all students. But individual programs within schools are one thing. A standalone school and a top-notch facility that attracts the best of what Indianapolis public education has to offer is another matter. IPS needs that flagship with its own identity, its own academic and athletic teams, its own legacy of success.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Al Edavine representing himself regarding the magnet move. Whenever you're ready.
Well, actually, I'm representing the Shortridge Alumni Association this evening, which is a little different.
Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity to comment on your plan. Even though there were no graduating classes between 1982 and 2012, Shortridge has a large, strong, and influential group of graduates because it was the first public high school in the state of Indiana. As we celebrate our 150th anniversary this year, our Alumni Association is exceedingly proud that Shortridge has the most graduates inducted into the IPS Hall of Fame. Shortridge alumni have been active in supporting the magnet program, Law and Public Policy, since 2009. Shortridge alumni served on the committee that created the program, so we are also invested in the success of Shortridge's existing programs and students. We want them to succeed because now they are part of the Shortridge family. Our alumni was thrilled when Shortridge's building was renovated and repurposed in 2009 to once again become a high school, and we don't oppose relocating the Gamble program to the Shortridge building because Shortridge will be a good location for this or any quality program. And both of these programs have shown themselves to be based on excellence. We recognize that the decision of which school goes where will be made by the IPS board and administrators. Our priorities are that Shortridge remains open as a high school, that it carries the Shortridge name, that it is successful, and that it demonstrates the academic excellence that is a part of our tradition. The Shortridge Alumni Association stands ready to support student success in whichever program continues there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Randy Jones representing CFI 2 regarding the Gamble prep move.
Good evening, Commissioners and Dr. Farabee. My name is Randy Jones, and my wife Amy and I are proud parents of one Center for Inquiry School number 2 graduate and another CFI student who will graduate 8th grade this year. We've had our primary residence in downtown Indianapolis for 27 years, and when our oldest was nearing school age, we debated on whether we should remain downtown. While we love the close-knit, near-west neighborhood of Ransom Place, the sticking point to staying downtown was schools, and there was no shortage of IPS detractors when we talked to friends and colleagues. Amy and I are both graduates of public school systems, Amy at IPS and myself at Warren Township. As we evaluated school options for our children, we knew we had received a solid education and could each name strong educators at our respective schools, but we could also point to the size of the system and the funding difficulties they faced. Those challenges have only increased, making it harder for our daughters to obtain a similarly strong education in a public school setting. We toured a number of schools and soon realized we could not afford private school and that we didn't want to leave downtown. One of the schools we toured was CFI number 2, and we were immediately drawn to the IB curriculum, the location, and more importantly, to the enthusiasm of the principal, Chris Collier, and her entire staff. The school was highly focused on delivering quality education, but also building a community within the school and nurturing world-aware citizens, regardless of their backgrounds. We've not been disappointed with the outcome for both of our daughters. Based on IPS's commitment to the K-8 IB program, we continue to encourage Chris to pursue an IB high school for the district. Chris, her colleagues, and the IPS school and administration followed through and created Gamble High School in 2012. However, for us, it was an unexpected and untested opportunity, and with our youngest at school number 2, it didn't seem logical to have our child attending school on the far west side of Indianapolis. We considered Gamble, but we also, again, considered other magnet options in addition to charter opportunities. Our desire to remain downtown and to find a small, community-focused, and college preparatory curriculum has led us to Heron High School. This has been the best fit for our family and will be where we send our youngest daughter to high school as well. IPS's past focus on specialty magnet programs that began at grade 6 rather than grade 9 made other schools such as Attucks, Shortridge, Tech, or Broad Ripple illogical for our family. Had Gamble been operating for a period where we could have evaluated its performance and located in an area that was near downtown, there's a strong likelihood that our daughters would have completed their high school careers within IPS. As it stands now, families who have students at the CFI schools are in near downtown communities, largely to the east of downtown and some to the north, and the thought of them continuing their IB programs on the far west side of Indianapolis is not consistent with community building. I certainly understand there is pain and confusion around the idea of moving and discontinuing other programs within the IPS family.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you.
I apologize. Next, we have Joyce Moore, representing herself regarding the changes at Shortridge.
Good evening. My sons and husband and I are products of IPS. One is associate professor at Columbia, an urban planner for New York, a marketing brand manager at Chrysler headquarters, an entrepreneur, programmer, author, artist. None of us attended IB programs, nor did we need to get a quality education. Caleb Mills, the father of Indiana Public Schools, prophetically wrote, "A disciplined mind and a cultivated heart are the elements of power, as well as unfailing sources of enjoyment recognized and felt in the relations and pursuits of life. They are the capital that is unaffected by fluctuations of trade, the depression of the market, or the vicissitudes of the stock board. The magnet redesign seems swayed by the vicissitudes of politics, a funny calculus where somehow it's more efficient to have a campus capable of holding thousands of students, instead only house a chosen few. Instability has negative impact on students, creates chaos, succeeds in pulling us further from the goal of a quality public education. The capital we need to invest in is cultivating community schools, to invest in students to grow and learn in place, nurturing the connection to community. It's a centralized IB program a good idea? Show us the data stating so. The proposal before us today has none. Our community needs to know why this is happening. Is it economically feasible, and not simply be told it will occur? Start by educating our students about the simple principle called the genius of and, that you can do both. What makes Shortridge special is its legacy built on the premise that public education can be excellent without being elitist. Consider giving current students and those living in Midtown neighborhoods first choice to attend their community school. Give our youth the opportunity to cultivate their hearts and minds in this special place. Give all current Shortridge students a place at the campus, and let Gambo students transition into a revamped IB Lab program within the already improving, rebounding, and established Shortridge. Let them be the and to our improvement of place, preserving the history of the first public high school in Indiana, and leave the legacy of its namesake intact. I ask that you share with the public documented proof why this alternative that keeps the school stable is not feasible. I ask you act in a way that the decision does not seem capricious or arbitrary. Make quality public education all of the mandate of all, and stop making vagabonds of our students by your knee-jerk solutions. Make Shortridge, in the year of its 150th anniversary celebration, again the trumpeter of public education, the pride of IPS, our city and state.
Thank you. Next, we have Deontay Edmonds representing self regarding the children of our future.
Good evening, board. And Dr. Furby. All right. I'm here basically to speak. We say that the children are our future, and yet we want to make a decision like this to just pack up Shortridge and send them on over to Tech. If their parents wanted them to go to Tech, they would have sent them to Tech. But their parents wanted them to go to Shortridge, and I went to Shortridge 9th through 11th grade, but I went to Shortridge in the 6th grade, and that was 2006 when Shortridge was off the chain. When I came to Shortridge in the 9th grade, I seen one police officer. That was different from when I was there in the 6th grade. We had 4 police officers. So that let me know that something changed the school. And them putting in a magnet inside of Shortridge, that created family. And I'm here to speak on behalf of these kids. These kids love their school. And the 6th graders that were there when I was in the 9th grade, they here tonight, and they juniors, you know, and they deserve to graduate from Shortridge. That's the school their parents signed them up for in the 6th grade. That's the school they've been at. And so I just think that we really need to look at who are we trying to please? Are we putting the children first? Or are we worried about what the parents think? Because at the end of the day, tomorrow is in the children's hands, and they are the future. And so I just come to speak because this is personal. You know, they told me to write something down, but I couldn't write it down because it was too much to put on paper. But I'm speaking from my heart. I do want to see Shortridge remain law and public policy. And as far as Gamble and what they got going on, they can keep it where they got it going on at. And I'm done with that.
Next, we have James Hamstra representing Gamble Prep regarding the moving proposal.
Commissioners of the IPS School Board, I would like to tell you who I am, why this decision impacts our community, and why I believe IPS can better achieve its vision by moving Gamble to Shortridge. My name is James Hamstra, and my family is invested in IPS. 3 of our siblings and 8 nephews and nieces live in Carmel and Fishers. But when we moved from Fall Creek Place, we chose to stay in IPS because we wanted a quality and diverse public education for our 3 sons. My wife serves on 2 PTAs and directs Ball State University's Center for Gifted Studies and Talent Development. She ran an enrichment camp for IPS students during fall break and has worked with Gamble Principal Shane O'Day and Seidner Principal Tennille Wallace on programming and grant applications. I've served alongside Mr. Odell on the Boy Scouts Board of Directors and also serve on the boards of directors for North United Methodist Church in Midtown Indianapolis. We've had wonderful experiences at IPS 60 Butler Lab School, IPS 91 Montessori, and Seidner Academy. And when my pre-kindergartner threw up during breakfast last week, he only dissolved into tears when I told him he couldn't go to school that day. This decision is so significant because perception is reality. Whether DOE letter grade rankings and standardized test scores are good metrics or not, parents pay close attention, and many leave IPS for high school. In the past 5 years, every single one of the 9 assessed IPS high schools has received at least one F rating. We are all gathered here tonight because of our shared passion for giving our students the best possible educational opportunities. That requires us to recognize when we can do better, and that time is upon us now. We all lose when our students fail to reach their potential. When we build IPS students through elementary and middle school and lose them for high school, then we have lost the fruits of our labor. When Shortridge High School receives 2 D and 2 F ratings in the past 5 years, then we must do something different for the sake of our students. When 40% of the 2013 Shortridge sophomores fail the English end-of-course assessments, 80% fail biology, and 100% fail algebra, then we have failed our students. Gamble is the only urban IB program in the nation. A move to Shortridge could be a transformative change that both improves educational opportunities for our students and stops the exodus of energetic and engaged families. Shortridge has a proud legacy and absolutely phenomenal alumni. But Shortridge alumni Kurt Vonnegut Jr. said it better than anyone. We had a daily paper, we had a debating team, we had a fencing team, we had a chorus, a jazz band, a serious orchestra, and all this with the Great Depression going on. And I wanted everybody to have such a school. We need Vonnegut School and its next generation of alumni now more than ever. It is unfair to preclude today's students, especially our minority students, from having the opportunity to receive a stronger education in their neighborhood. It is impossible for IPS to be the flagship in innovative urban education without having a flagship high school in the heart of Indianapolis. Please vote to enable Shortridge to reclaim its former glory and to give IPS the flagship high school it so desperately needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ruth Baird Holloway representing Shortridge staff regarding the proposal.
We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. Do you wear a mask? Who are you? Who do you serve? What's in your wallet? Well, who am I? I am Ruth Baird Holloway, born and cultivated in IPS, giving back to the community by teaching in IPS, and still fortunate to be residing in IPS. In deciding the future of Shortridge Law and Public Policy Magnet, I implore you to honestly answer these questions. Who is IPS? What is my purpose for IPS? And what do I cultivate, meaning the board, you, all of us, what do we cultivate in IPS? Cultivo una rosa blanca. I cultivate a white rose. En julio como en enero, in July as in January. Para el amigo sincero, for the sincere friend. Que me da su mano franca, who gives me the genuine hand. Y para el cruel que me arranca, and for the cruel person that pulls out. El corazón con que vivo, the heart with which I live. Cardo ni ortiga cultivo, thistle nor nettle do I cultivate. Cultivo la rosa blanca, I cultivate the white rose. Who is IPS? What is your purpose for IPS? What do we cultivate in IPS? Cultivo una rosa blanca. I cultivate a white rose. What about you?
Thank you. Next, we have Kara Howie, representing herself regarding the relocation.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Kara Hahi, and I live 2 blocks from Shortridge High School. My husband Matthew and I have 2 children currently attending Center for Inquiry, CFI 27, who would eventually matriculate into Gambold Prep. Today, I am here in support of Gambold Prep moving into Shortridge High School. Some feel that a takeover is for the betterment of 146 students versus the 700 students at Shortridge. As I understand it, there are only approximately 300 high school students at Shortridge. So let's estimate and say that half are graduating seniors. That makes the number of high school students pretty comparable. This move is about asset allocation and creating a strong foundation for the future. Simply put, the Law and Public Policy program has not garnered enough interest to attract high school students. Shortridge's footprint is designed for some 1,200 students. Using a high school for 300 students when it can hold, and some 400 middle school students is not an appropriate use of this high school facility. This misuse is what is unfair and unjust. Right now, at the 3 Center for Inquiry schools alone, there are 1,200 students who will need a proper high school facility, not including the Montessori schools, Seidner, Butler Lab, and the other schools that would feed into Gambold Prep. I've heard arguments about the historical importance of Shortridge, and I agree. But if we're to honor the historical significance of the school, then we best fill it to capacity. Again, there are some 1,200 students who have an interest in the IB way and can fill this school. I know many neighbors who live by Shortridge, including myself, who send their kids to Butler Lab and CFI 27 and other IPS schools, but with Gambold Prep, where it's currently located, there is not enough room for us all to attend, thus forcing our kids to do what the older kids in the community do now, which is attend other district and township schools. As I see it, this acquisition isn't to become academic, elitist, or exclusionary. If you take the time to get to know the principal and the parents at our school, we love the diversity that our school exemplifies, as you've heard from Gambold Prep students tonight. A thriving school filled with students is an asset to my neighborhood, and as the school does well, so does the community. Remember, our kids go here too. In closing, I am making my case on the IB program being one successful model of education that needs resources, most importantly, a high school with facilities in a central location. If IPS wants a shot at raising graduation rates and increasing the academic standard, vote yes for this proposal to move Gambold into Shortridge High School. Say yes to our IB program being a contributor to one successful way of educating our children all the way through high school. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Bill Crawford, representing Concerned Clergy of Greater Indianapolis regarding the proposal.
Thank you, Commissioners. I also was informed that I can speak on behalf of the NAACP Education Committee. On behalf of the Concerned Clergy and the NAACP Education Committee, I wish to express concerns over the proposed magnet school redesign. Our concerns are as follows. The number one concern is the short time frame for inclusive stakeholder input. And in your book, you list stakeholders, but you do not list taxpayers, who are also stakeholders in the future of IPS. The time frame in your book, November the 10th through November the 18th. November the 10th through the 18th. That's 8 days for a dramatic change in the makeup of IPS. Insufficient impact analysis driven by disaggregated student data by race. And the reason that this is important is that you have to remember this is a system that was once declared a segregator de jure by law by the United States Supreme Court, the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, and the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Indiana. That happened. The reasons for that to happen was a lack of transparency, a lack of public input into the decision-making process. Decisions were made for and not with the input of the people. Those actions taken back years ago resulted in a dramatic adverse impact on IPS and the city of Indianapolis. At that time, when that ruling was made, IPS had over 100,000 students. Once that ruling was made, IPS began to decrease student enrollment. Students were bused out, one-way, mandatory. That was driven by closed-door decision-making without ample discussion and time for discussion and dialogue with all stakeholders. Actions of the IPS board, which limits public, you don't talk at us, talk to us. Talk with us. Let's sit down and dialogue. But can you legitimately say that November the 10th, according to your book, through November the 18th was adequate for this change?
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Next, we have Carolyn Watkins representing herself regarding the magnet redesign.
Good evening. My name is Carolyn Watkins, and I stand before you here as a proud Shortridge graduate of 1977, remembering what it was like to be in this room 37 years ago when we were trying to save our Shortridge and pleading with the school board at that time to hear us. But I also come to you as the parent of a 7th grader at CFI School Number 2, and a person who has written to you all before saying, please, please move the gambled IB program to a central location. My daughter wouldn't even begin to think about sending my daughter all the way to the west side when we live on the east. I was thrilled to hear that gambled was going to be moved until I heard that they were going to move all of the Shortridge students out. And I was speechless. And you know, I have written and rewritten this speech I don't know how many times. I came with 11 copies to hand out to you, and now I've thrown it all out because I've been listening. I've been listening to what the kids have been saying, to what other people have been, to the parents and teachers have been saying. I've been listening to allegations of classism and racism, and I will tell you the one thing I learned at Shortridge was that racism and classism are insidious. They permeate every single part of our society, and that as a white person, it was even more important for me to be listening to my brothers and sisters of color, to listen to what they are saying, and to always consider if what I am saying, what I am doing, what I am advocating is going to, whether it's going to help dismantle those racism and classism. And so I've been listening to those allegations, and I'm torn. But I do believe that the last gentleman who talked about transparency, that is really part of the heart of the matter, that we have not had enough discussion about this, because my main question to you is, why can't the IB program and law and policy exist in the same building? When I was at Shortridge, there were 1,800 students there, and we were told it could hold 2,500. I understand that the Alumni Association have been pouring money into building this law and policy program there, and I've heard bright, brilliant students talk about that. I've heard bright, brilliant students from Gamble talk about their schools, and they sound like they're saying the same thing, that they have the same vision for what education can be. And I can see us being able to mold these two schools together. But if we cannot, in fairness to the students who already have invested their heart and soul,
I apologize.
move Gamble to tech.
Thank you. Next, we have Agnes Shelton, representing parents of middle school students at school number 43 regarding Shortridge magnet move.
Thank you. Dobry wieczór. Меня зовут Агнес Шелтон, и я изучалась русский языком, когда я студентка на Shortridge многие лет тому назад. Good evening, I'm Agnes Shelton, and I studied Russian at Shortridge many, many years ago, so it has stayed with me. As a Shortridge High School alumni and the James Whitcomb Riley School 43 parent involvement educator, I feel compelled to speak with the board this evening regarding the proposed magnet redesign, which means redesignation, physical relocation, and reallocation of resources. My concern, as are my parents, is one of the future of James Whitcomb Riley. In other words, is it going to remain a general education school, or will it become a magnet option, another CFI? By moving the law and public policy magnet out of Shortridge to accommodate the secondary IB, in conjunction with Butler University, parents must be concerned since the former William A. Bell IPS 60 is now the IPS Butler University Lab School, 60 for grades pre-K through 4. Butler University will play an integral role in the IB secondary program at Shortridge with the establishment of the IB Lab Partnership. The question uppermost is, why cannot two magnet options coexist in the same space? Students and their parents chose Shortridge because of its name, the tradition, and for many, it is in their community. Since the establishment of magnet options, many living close to those magnet option schools were not able to attend. Now, to those parents wanting their child or children to attend Shortridge, it would appear that another chapter of disenfranchisement is underway. Abram C. Shortridge was one of the early advocates of public education for all people. Thus, his 11-year term as superintendent of the Indianapolis Public Schools from 1863 to 1874. The Indianapolis High School was renamed to Shortridge in his honor, a testament to his passion for public education. I firmly believe, Commissioners, that if Mr. Shortridge were to speak to you, he would ask you to think long and carefully regarding the outcomes of your decision for the students, their families, and the surrounding community. In other words, our great city of Indianapolis. Even though the housing of two magnet options in the same building may not be a good business model, it just might be the best model for the academic and social well-being of the students we serve. It might be academically and socially advantageous to have the resources available to the students in the IB magnet also available to the law and public policy magnet students. We thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Amy Hardesty representing Key Learning Community regarding the proposal.
Good evening, Commissioners and Dr. Farabee. I understand that the decision regarding our school has been tabled. However, I'd like to take this opportunity to provide a little bit more information about our magnet program and why you should vote no on any proposal that would close our school. Our school in 2012, the first year that all three of our schools were graded, received Fs. Sheila Delasky joined our team as principal, charged with improving our performance. She attacked this relentlessly, And the very next year, our schools earned a B, a C, and a D in elementary, middle, and high schools, respectively. Our performance and progress continues. In 2014, our middle and high school were graded as Cs. Our I-Read 3 scores continue to improve, with passing rates at 55%, 76%, and 77% in 2012, 13, and 14, respectively. In 2014, we actually outperformed the district average by 7%. But that's not just what makes our school special. Look at the data and then look beyond. I cannot tell you as an individual in 2 minutes what makes Key Learning Community special. But we are a community with dedicated staff, teachers, and family who are all there to pursue academic excellence. Regretfully, we were found to be less than that when a week ago we were told by automated phone message that our school was going to close. Most of our students have been attending the Key Learning Community for their entire academic career. When was the last time any of you were notified that your workplace of 10, 15, or 16 years was closing via an automated phone message? Unfortunately, we were deemed to be worth even the simple consideration of a personal notice that our school might be closing. Closing a school should be the last choice ever made for a district, a choice that is made after every other possible option and alternative has been explored and exhausted. Closing a school rocks a community. Closing a school incites fear. Closing a school implies failure. Our students have not failed. Our teachers have not failed. Our families have not failed. Unfortunately, the district failed us when we were not even given the courtesy of a phone call a week ago. Please take this month to talk to our students, talk to our parents. If you're seeking more information about our program, we are more than happy to give it to you. Call me personally. I will find our parents. We will tell you what is special about our community, why we are there, and why we are committed to educational excellence. This was a nationally acclaimed, rigorous program, and we are well on our way to returning to that status. We would be more than happy to show you in our school. Thank you.
Thank you. 2 hours in, you guys doing okay? Next, we have Connie Chu representing her son regarding the Shortridge move.
Good evening, IPS school board members. Thank you for all of your time and dedication to all of the students that attend Indianapolis Public Schools. The first concern I have is that the Shortridge parents received a phone call stating possible changes in their child's school for the 2015-2016 school year less than 24 hours before the meeting. Many parents do work, go to school, and have other activities they are involved in, as well as being a parent. Parents need to plan and need to have more notice regarding meetings. There are many involved and concerned parents at Shortridge. Parents are involved in many ways, some of which may not be noticed because they ask other parents for information when they cannot get to meetings or understand what is going on. I do not feel like there has been enough communication with parents about what is being proposed. Something in writing sent home with students or mailed, more phone calls with detail, school-wide meetings with notice so parents can plan on attending, emails, whatever it takes, as parents cannot get involved and express their concern if they do not know all the facts. As a parent of a Shortridge student, it concerns me that this issue of Gamble wanting to move into Shortridge and move the Shortridge law and public policy students out has come up again. It does not make sense to me to move 700 plus students from one school to a school with almost 2,000 students, then move 164 or so students into the school that 700 just came out of. How does this save money? It will still cost to heat the building, and teachers will still have to be paid. There are many well-deserving and highly intelligent students at Shortridge that have worked hard in their education and deserve a good school with caring and hardworking teachers and staff. All the intelligent students do not attend Gamble. It is not a good fit for every student. The staff at Shortridge have worked many hours to obtain great community partners with law firms and law schools to help the students. They are also teamed up with Butler so 11th and 12th grade students can take classes there. According to the Indiana Department of Education website, Shortridge has 93.6 graduation rate. Let's keep this moving up by keeping the law and public policy students together at Shortridge, where they are getting knowledge of law and public policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Stephanie Smart representing herself regarding the move.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for taking time to listen. I am a IPS parent and I live 5 blocks from Shortridge, so I have a little bit of an investment here. I'm here to support the move, so I would like to see Gambold move into Shortridge. When Gambold opened, my older son was at Sidner, my younger son wasn't in school yet. I was thrilled to see a school that I could actually send my kid to. So here's a high school now that I felt like would be a fit for my children, and it got moved way off to the west side. I think that we need a high school that's going to be centrally located. I hear again and again parents choosing not to go to Gambold because it's too far. Location, right? It's everything. And right now, my older son is currently going to Gambold. He's taking one class. He's 10, so it's a little bit of an odd situation. But needless to say, I was a bit worried about him going to high school. You know, there's this little 10-year-old in with all the high school students, and I shouldn't have worried. From the very first moment that I picked up the phone to call and see if it was going to be a fit, to see if it was going to be welcoming, it has been nothing but outstanding. The students have been welcoming, inclusive, and kind to the young classmate. Other students and staff have made a point to stop us in the hall before and after class to welcome my son to Gambold. As we walk the halls and I observe the students together, there is an overall sense of caring for each other. Gambold is a community, and the culture of an IB school is clearly present there. It is this community and culture that I fear would be lost if Gambold is forced to share a building with another high school. Every student at Gambold has made a commitment to the IB rigor and the IB values. Every student has said yes to being a part of the Gambold IB community, and as such, they are all actively participating in that community. If Gambold shares a building with another high school, that culture and community will always be competing with the other school. The IB high school needs to be in its own separate building and have its own campus in order to ensure the IB principles, values, and rigor is not diluted. When I look at Shortridge as an IB high school, I see a school filled with students who are being given the opportunity and support to become lifelong learners and community stewards. I see a school and a school district that is providing the opportunity for those students to thrive as they transition from children to adults. I see a school that gives back to this community not only in community service, but in helping our children embody the joy of learning. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Scott Armstrong representing Gambold and CFI students regarding the magnet relocation.
Hello, everybody, commissioners, Dr. Farabee. I know it's been a long night. Thank you all for letting me come. I have a son that's attended school 88, CFI number 2, Harshman Middle School, and is currently at Gambold, and I have a younger son at CFI number 2. First, I think the students were just spectacular. I really expected a lot more passion, and there was certainly a lot of passion, but I thought they did a really wonderful job. I think sometimes as adults, we prescribe some pretty romantic notions to buildings rather than programs, and sometimes get caught up a lot in that. I don't envy any of you for the choices you have to make. You have to think about today's students, you have to think about tomorrow's students. We've heard a lot about today, a lot about short-term moves for current students, and I don't want to downplay that at all. I'm sure that is very difficult. You know, a lot of the Gambold students were a little too, I think, proud to say, you know, they're pioneers. They're pioneering a program that's really working out very well. And part of what they've paid for that pioneering spirit is a true high school experience. You know, it has nothing to do with the fact that the school is on the outskirts, the western outskirts of the district. It has to do with they're in half a middle school. They've never had a home sporting event in 3 years, never had a musical performance in their school in 3 years, don't use workable science labs. They eat the same trade lunches that my elementary school student eats. They have really, gone out of their way to pioneer a school. They were, one of them mentioned, I believe they were promised it would be a short-term situation, and that, I've heard a lot tonight about how this popped up last Tuesday. Well, I've been in this room 3 times on this issue in the last 3 years, so this, as you all know, it did not pop up last Tuesday. This has been something that's been discussed for quite a long time. And I believe, again, the central location pales in comparison to the idea of putting them in a legitimate high school building. I think that's where you're losing students when you lose students to 8th grade that don't end up, from 8th grade that don't end up going to Gamble. That's the main issue. I think that if you delay this at this point, you're going to lose another class of 8th graders. You're going to have Gamble juniors who become seniors and never get that high school experience. And I do understand that this would be a very difficult move for the Shortridge students who want to continue in that program. But as we all know, Shortridge is a magnet program now, and it would just be a magnet program in a different place. So if the parents chose that location for the location itself, primarily, they're certainly welcome in the new magnet program that would happen to be housed there. So again, it's been a long night, so I'm going to finish up and just say really hope that you pass this tonight. I know that the magnet applications are due very soon, and I would love for my son and all his class to be able to get over there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have William Campbell representing himself regarding the move to Shortridge.
My name is Bill Campbell. I graduated from Northwest High School in '97. A little bit about me. My son attends Gamble Prep. I'm the robotics coach there along with my wife. If he was up here with me, you guys might have recognized him as he received the Harry Suleiman Award. My wife and I began coaching at Gamble Prep for, we wanted to get more involved with the school. And most of my family has come through IPS. Even my grandmother graduated from Shortridge in the early 1940s. I'm here to express my support for moving the IB to Shortridge. I feel this move will be great for IPS and the community. While my son was attending Seidner Academy, we were faced with a lot of choices for his future. Ultimately, we chose Gamble for 2 reasons, science-bound and the IB. If we went to a school that was not involved with science-bound, we could lose a scholarship to Purdue. And as for the IB, we understand that colleges love the nature of IB and are excited to receive students that have come through the IB. However, there were a lot of families that didn't make the same decision as us when it came time to select high schools, as was the same for many other IPS schools like the CFIs, Montessori and Harshman, Butler Lab. I don't even know if Butler Lab's up to that point yet. But most of the 8th graders that left IPS for private and charter schools, I believe that if IPS had the IB program at Shortridge, then they most likely would have still stayed in the district. The IB is already successful. They are boasting combined ECAs at 98.1%, while the state is only at 72.8%. Shortridge was looking like it was at 48.8%, and IPS as a whole was at 45.7%. And I got these numbers off the Indiana Department of Education's Compass. If the IB is moved to a larger facility, I believe it can reach further for less cost and improve the lives and education of far more students in ethnicity groups. The IB is interested in cultivating students and enhancing their lives, the tools needed for success. The IB creates a culture where education is highly valued as being as highly valued as being an individual. Every child thrives in the IB at Gamble, and Gamble takes all the steps it needs in order to make that happen. The IB at Gamble has a winning formula, and if given the opportunity, the IB can translate that into a win for IPS and the community. Gamble forges lasting community partnerships everywhere it goes. Gamble has had traveling classrooms at the Children's Museum, Butler University, and the State House. This is an experience that none of these children forget. It was amazing for me to watch as a relationship was developed with Bright House and the enthusiasm that Bright House had for building that relationship with us. I'm also proud to be a part of an ongoing relationship Gamble has with Roche.
Thank you.
I thank you.
Next, we have Scott Lowe representing Gamble Prep regarding the relocation.
Hi, my name's Scott Lau. My wife Marie and I have a son, Matthew, who's a sophomore at Gamble Prep. I'm speaking tonight in support of the proposed relocation to Shortridge. First, I want to say we're very grateful for Gamble. Our son is academically challenged. He's in an environment that encourages deep thinking, service to others, and values diversity. He loves taking Mandarin, and he's excited about the thought of studying abroad in China. My wife and I are invested not only in our son, but also in the Gamble family. So we spend a lot of our time and energy supporting the school's functions and programs. We believe Mr. O'Day and the teachers and staff are doing just a terrific job for the students at Gamble, despite being short on resources. It's clear to us that their driving agenda is a great IB education for our students and to bring an IB opportunity to all students who are willing to work to achieve the standards. Our son went to Seidner Academy, and we know many families with students at Seidner and the CFI schools who love these schools. It's disappointing, however, to see these families put Gamble low on their list of high school choices due to the current facilities and location. My wife and I are excited about the Shortridge plan for many reasons, but I'll share just a couple of those. First, the location would make it more accessible for parents as well as students. Parent involvement at Gamble is too low today and needs to improve for Gamble to be a great high school. Second, this location we think would create an IP and an IPS buzz, which will attract not only students and families, but also excellent IB teachers and even more support from outside partners who want to help IPS. We also want to say that if this proposal is approved, we hope that the current students and families at Shortridge and other schools will take a look at the IB program and consider joining it. We think that many will see the great things that we see and will want to be part of it and help make it even better. In closing, I just want to relate a quick story that demonstrates the culture at Gamble. Last year at a school function, I was talking with an Indianapolis police officer who was head of security at Gamble at the time. This person has spent many years in schools and has seen lots of environments. As we were talking, he pointed to a group of about half dozen students, including our son, sitting together and socializing. He said, "That's what I love about this school. That group of kids over there would not be able to sit there and enjoy each other's company at other schools I've seen. Those kids have unique personalities, and they'd have a hard time at a lot of schools. Here, they're safe to be themselves." Coming from a person with his firsthand experience in schools, this really assured me that we were in the right place for our son. Again, thanks for your careful consideration of this very important proposal.
Next, we have Ryan Puckett representing Self and Family regarding the move.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. My name is Ryan Puckett, and my wife and I moved to 30 East 37th Street in Mapleton Fall Creek 1 year ago. And I'm here tonight for two reasons. Number one, we have two boys, with one already enrolled at the IPS Butler Lab School. And it's the number one reason we moved to that neighborhood was to give our children the best opportunity to attend that school. The second reason that I'm here is I live just 3 blocks away from Shortridge. The decisions about what to do with that historical educational institution may affect not only our son's future education, but will definitely have an impact on our home's value and the redevelopment of that neighborhood. While the next stage of our children's education is a long way off, I've already begun considering where they might attend high school. The idea of bringing the IB program to the walls of Shortridge is very attractive to my family. Additionally, the proposal to align the IB program with Butler University gives me great hope that this would flow naturally with the elementary education my son is now experiencing. It's incredible to see Butler University investing in the community. Having a high-performing high school program in Mapleton Fall Creek could potentially attract more residents like me to consider this neighborhood as a place to live and may keep some current residents in place rather than fleeing to the outskirts of Marion County or the suburbs. I'd like to clarify, though, when I say residents like me, I don't mean residents that look like me. I mean residents who are invested in their property, their family, their neighbors, and their community. But what about the current Shortridge students? I've heard their complaints and I've heard their concerns this evening, but my understanding is that this realignment is about moving programs and not students. I would encourage the board and the administration to make that a key message to parents and students and the community at large. And in addition, I would also encourage all media outlets to accurately report on the way that this proposal. I also encourage the board to consider delaying the move of the law and policy program to tech to give families more time to make a decision. Alternatively, I encourage the board to phase out the program at its current location, allowing current ninth graders to finish at their current location. I realize that may not be economically feasible or logistically possible, but I think it should be considered. I have many other things I'd like to say, but you know, I've heard about these rumors for a while. I pay attention to education policy as much as I can, but not everybody gets that opportunity. I have to admit that the way that it sounds like many people found this could have been with a more clarifying explanation, and maybe it had been introduced earlier, perhaps the complaints would have been lessened. That's the end of my comments for this evening. Thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts with you.
Thank you. Next, we have Diana Gibbons, parents of School 70, regarding the new curriculum, Science and Social Studies.
Hi, thank you for taking the time to hear me out today. I am addressing some issues that haven't been brought up tonight. The Shortridge issue was actually just brought to my attention when I was put on the agenda yesterday. It recently came to my attention that a major change had occurred in our student science and social studies curriculum. Again, School 70 is an elementary school performing arts magnet on Central Avenue. Upon researching this issue, I learned that it is not just statewide and an issue facing our country. It is an issue that faces governments across the globe. All over the world, governments are trying to streamline and reform their education systems. Subject integration is at the heart of streamlining, and more involved testing is at the heart of that reform. Here in Indiana, we had a great rating according to Fordham Institute, while the Common Core curriculum had a good rating. Indiana declined to adopt Common Core. Actually, we adopted it and then backed out of the deal. We are the first state to adopt and then back out. And it would have made sense for us to return to those great standards that were above the Common Core curriculum. Instead, we took 1 month to completely revamp our curriculum and came back with a completely new plan. I feel that this is an experiment in public education that our students are a part of. We were not informed of these curriculum changes as parents, and the way that science is being implemented and integrated into early education simply doesn't work, and it's been proven in every model and every research project ever done on early education that you cannot sporadically introduce science to elementary school students. It needs to be systematically and sequentially introduced in order to ensure understanding of the material and in order to be built upon in later learning. The social studies portion of this does directly tie into the Shortridge public policy issue. For our elementary school students to be missing any sort of social studies education, it leaves them at a disadvantage going into schools such as Shortridge that are a public policy school. I do realize, or I'm here today to ask you, the board, what, if anything, as parents we can do to help our district. Number one, keep our No Child Left Behind waiver. I hear that it is in jeopardy, or we are in jeopardy of losing that waiver. Washington State did lose their waiver recently. And I would also like to get back our proven and exemplary system that we had before. We had a great system of educating our kids, and I don't understand why, without notice, it was revamped and a new system implemented. Also, on the subject that Mary Yearling brought up as the first adult speaker tonight of ISTEP, these are standard ways of measuring things. ISTEP is not a standardized test. ISTEP has been changed and beefed up and made more involved, while at the same time our curriculum for our elementary school school students has been dumbed down. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have Philip Covington representing himself regarding the magnet proposal.
Hello, I'm here to represent myself, my child, and Gamble. Gamble's an excellent school. I would like it to be centrally located in Shortridge. The staff and the principal is wonderful. Mr. O'Day, he knows my child personally. He's very involved in the school. I see him every day that I go up there. I'm there every day. And there's plenty of students and parents that I see every day, parents I see every day that love the school, and the school is everyone is very involved. It's like a little family, and that's why we chose Gamble. And it has the science bound also, and all the schools don't have science bound, and my son's involved in science bound, and it's an excellent program, and I'd like it to continue with Gamble with the other students. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Connie Plowden representing KLC students regarding the magnet move.
Good evening. I stand here this evening as a faithful parent of Key Learning Community for over the last 11 years. I've had 2 of my 4 children graduate from Key School and 2 still attending. I have had 2 of my children graduate with honors from Key School, and I firmly believe that if they were not taught the multiple intelligence concept, that they would have not graduated with honors from Key Learning. You are thinking of closing one of the few schools in the world that teaches multiple intelligence, but you fail to realize it is that multiple intelligence are important because it forces students and teachers to teach and learn in and out of their own comfort zone. Key School Multiple Intelligence Program teaches our students how to relate lessons and materials to students in their specific intelligence, which results in better chances of them retaining the information both short and term and long term. The other schools are focused on 1 or 2 area specialties, whereas Key is built on the different ways that each child individually learns and that they learn differently. Taking that away from some of the students would not only cause them to try to learn a different way that they are not familiar with, but could cause them to hinder their learning. One of your first classes you teach in college, or learn in college, deals with the study skills and multiple intelligence. Our students have the chance to learn that ahead of time. Key School has not only been a learning institution for our students as well as the teachers, but it has been a family. The children enjoy knowing that some of the same kids that they started school with in the 1st grade will still be their peers in the grades to come. Most of the teachers know who you are because they have had the pleasure of watching you grow there. There are not many schools that offer a chance to learn at the same school from kindergarten to graduation. The proposal states that the other students at the other school that are being relocated are guaranteed a spot at the other magnet school. But there is no mentioning of that option for our students. What happens to the 448 families at Key? Why isn't they relocating an option for us? Kids who don't want to choose another magnet program or have committed to the one now that they go have nowhere else to go. Instead of closing the school, why not invest in the teachers learning how to teach the multiple intelligence program better? Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Tasha Coe representing her student regarding the magnet proposal.
Good evening. My name is Tasha Coe, and I support the plan to move Gamble Prep IB program to Shortridge. I'm a mother of 2 children. My daughter will be a senior next fall and have been attending the IB program at Gamble Prep since her freshman year. The IB program has taught my daughter to be an accurate problem solver, to have excellent communication skills, to be goal-driven, and to accept any challenge that is put before her. I appreciate and acknowledge the IB program for encouraging and motivating the children to be more involved with the community. By moving the location of the IB program, it will also allow other students the same opportunity that my daughter has received, no matter of their culture, their social class, or their ethnic backgrounds. Thank you for giving me the time to speak this evening.
Thank you. Next, we have Carlton Waterhouse representing IU Robert H. McKinney School of Law regarding the magnet proposal.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to address the board on such an important issue. My name is Carlton Waterhouse. I'm a professor of law at the IU Robert H. McKinney School of Law, and I coordinate the law school's partnership with IPS and Shortridge Magnet School. Roughly 3 years ago, we began a unique partnership around the country that places law professors and law students in a public high school on a daily and weekly basis. Through the program, McKinney law professors and students have invested thousands of hours teaching, mentoring, and coaching students to aid and prepare them for legal careers and to empower them to know and exercise their rights within our democracy. We believe that we have and will continue to make a difference in the lives of these and future students if we're given an opportunity. To that end, it is my sincere wish that this meeting represents something more than an empty gesture or formalized charade, disconnected from the anxiety, concern, and fear felt by the hundreds of students and families now present at the Shortridge Magnet School. It is my hope that you attend this meeting with minds and hearts open to the cries and pleas so eloquently made by these same students and their families. I stand to raise two concerns with the proposed change, one substantive and the other procedural. As a matter of process, democracy affords meaningful participation of an informed public. Such participation enables robust discourse that enlivens debate, raises awareness, and undergirds sound and thoughtful decisions. Decisions made in haste that lack transparency are those that disregard the views and insights or perspectives of those most affected, weaken the democratic process, alienate community, and suggest insider deal-making by discrete interests that pull strings behind the scenes. As a substantive matter, my concern is in the relocation of such a large number of students and the disruption it will certainly cause to the magnet school program. Great strides and significant progress have been made over the few short years of this program and its partnership. A mass relocation of students to a new location will certainly present substantial challenges and disruptions that threaten the program's past successes and continued development. Moreover, the proposal fails to provide a vision for the magnet program or the IU McKinney partnership at Arsenal Tech. Absent such a vision or description, it's hard to understand what benefit the move is intended to impart to the law and public policy program or its students. In contrast, the benefits to the IB magnet program are clear and are clearly at the forefront of the plan. My hope is that the Shortridge students are not being treated as a means to some end by being placed on a sacrificial altar of expediency, furthering an unspoken agenda, but that instead you commissioners would treat these students and families as ends in and of themselves, of equal consideration and value, as the IB program and its students, and all other students and prospective students within this district. My faith is that you will reflect your equal consideration and regard for all these students and their best interests. Thank you.
Thank you. That is all of our delegates for this evening. I want to thank you all as the audience to be great you were great listeners and very respectful of each of our speakers, so thank you very much. Moving on in the agenda, we're section 3, approval of the minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next is report of the treasurer, 4.01. So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next section, we're moving to section 5, general superintendent's recommendation, and a reminder that we did move the 5.10 up to the top of the list. 5.10, yeah. Magnet choice and redesign. So I'll hand it over to the superintendent.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, a reminder that the item for the magnet and choice redesign was moved as their first agenda item. We're recommending that the Board of School Commissioners approve the proposed magnet and choice option redesign for Gamble and Shortridge that has been presented and move forward with tabling discussions for the other schools as shared. Brief comments. Want to, again, it's been discussed earlier, very proud of our students this evening and their advocacy. We are just have opportunity this evening just to see how talented and knowledgeable our students are and how passionate they are. So again, it's very rewarding to hear from our students. To be clear, there were several negative comments made about Arsenal Technical High School this evening. These comments do not reflect the IPS standards of excellence or reality for Arsenal Tech. This proposal will offer rigorous curriculum and exemplary extracurricular opportunities for all students in the community and establish a flagship high school. Increase access to IB curriculum by expanding international baccalaureate curriculum and enrollment capacity. Improve efficiency and also equity in transportation through a central location, while also leveraging a partnership with Butler University. And complete a continuum of K-12 IB program in IPS. We've been discussing this topic since 2013. We're at a point now we need to make a decision. Over half of the students from both schools are students of color, and over 75% of the students from both schools are eligible for free and reduced lunch. It is so important that we not embed or insert the issue of race and equity in this conversation. This conversation is a conversation about access and also enhancing rigorous options for our students. Of the 706 students currently enrolled in Shortridge, 199 of those students, representing 28% of the Shortridge population, are enrolled in at least one elective course aligned with the law and public policy program. Again, this conversation is about a program and ensuring that we're offering the best to our students of rigor. Again, we ask that the Board of Commissioners approve the redesign plan as presented for Shortridge and Gamble.
So moved. Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on this item? Commissioner Hannon.
I just want to make some comments. First of all, I want to echo what Dr. Farabee said about hearing from students and the community tonight. This is, in the 2 years that I've been on the board, the longest and most involved board meeting that I've been at. And there have been times that I wish that we had more involvement in some of our board meetings and some of the big decisions that we make. I want to say that since I've been on the board, this has been a topic of discussion. It's always been my understanding that Gamble was going to move at some point, and there was a conversation last year that didn't go anywhere, and we're finally at a point that I feel like we need to make this decision. I want to say on the record that I hope that there are a few things that we can do. I'm not particularly thrilled with how this was communicated to families. I'm trying to keep the method of communication separate in my head from the actual decision because I think that the decision is one that has to be made. I hope that we can address a couple of things that were brought up tonight. One being the question of the salutatorian and valedictorian conversation for students who are currently at Shortridge. It's my understanding that the Butler Early College Partnership, any students participating in that will continue to be able to participate in that regardless of the move. It's my understanding that we'll be moving the courtroom from Shortridge to Tech in order to continue to allow students to use that courtroom. And it's my hope that once this decision is made, if it is supported, that the families at Shortridge will get as much information as possible in order to inform their choice. I was really, really proud to know that the students who spoke tonight feel so strongly about being a part of IPS. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the families who stood up and the hundreds of emails that we received. And so I just wanted to say all that on the record, and I'll be supporting the move.
Please call for the question.
Any other questions?
I just had a few comments that were very similar to Commissioner Hannon. One, the courtroom issue, and I understood that any kind of physical changes that needed to occur to accommodate the program would happen. The fact this is not a new issue, we've been talking about this for several years, and in fact, prior to Dr. Farabee coming, we did talk about, we heard several people tonight talk about sharing the building, and that was brought up over a year ago, and it was the Shortridge people who refused to share and had issues with sharing space, and did not want people to come into Shortridge. So I find it interesting that that came up again as a topic tonight. Excited that the early college program will remain at Shortridge and that every student that is at Shortridge will be allowed to stay if they want to stay. Again, about the diversity, I have children in my neighborhood. I'm a director of a community center. We have children, and we're on the west side, that have gone to Seidner, have gone to the CFIs 27, and these are children of all race and ethnicity. I'm just pleased that we're finally making movement. This is something we've been talking about for way too long, and I'm excited that we're finally ready to move forward with it tonight. The other issue is, in looking at the numbers, and we keep comparing the 700 and something to the 100 and something, you take out the junior high, which will go away, and the seniors, and we're only probably looking at about 300 students. So, you know, to compare the 700 to the 160 or whatever is probably not really accurate if you're comparing apples to apples. So I will be supporting. Oh, and also the TBL, the Thin Blue Line program that is apparently at Shortridge is also at Tech, it's my understanding.
Yes, we will offer the same program at Arsenal Tech.
Okay. Thank you.
Call for the question.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1.
I'd like just to make a comment. You know, I think that as staff, I know that communicating something like this and communicating to the whole community when we're going to talk about these things is really difficult, and they try to do the best they can. But I just ask that we redouble our efforts to communicate what we are really doing, because I think that once people see the facts, they'll see that 75% of what people have talked about this evening is going to be achieved by this recommendation. So I just encourage the staff to keep communicating, redouble your efforts to help the community understand what we're doing.
Next agenda item is item 5.01, the Safe Haven Grant.
Can we take the section 5 as a whole?
We'll have to do policy real quick.
Oh, we need a policy. Can we do 5.08 by itself because it's policy, and then do the rest as an entire section?
Okay, let's,
It's for policy.
okay, let's take the policies, please. I apologize.
Okay.
5.06 is the first policy. We have to do a roll call vote. On 5.06, we need a suspension of the 30-day.
So moved.
Second.
Been motion and seconded that we suspend the 30-day rule for 5.06. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now we are actually voting on 5.06.
Move approve.
It's going to be roll.
Move approve.
Okay. Wait, it's been moved. We need a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and we'll do a roll call vote. Thank you.
Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Arnold,
Yes.
Commissioner Cosby, Commissioner Odle,
Yes.
Commissioner Dare White. No. Commissioner Hannon,
Yes.
Commissioner Roof.
Yes.
Motion passes by 4.
Next on the agenda, we have 5.07 investment policy. Again, we need a 30-day suspension motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. 5.07 investment policy, we need a motion.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, we got to do
Oh,
a
I'm sorry.
roll call.
Thank you.
Commissioner Odle,
Yes.
Commissioner Dare White.
No.
Commissioner Hannon.
Yes.
Commissioner Roof.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Arnold.
Yes.
Passes 4-1.
Okay, next. I just took over. I'm sorry.
Look, proceed.
We have 5.08 revised dress code policy number 551.
Move
approval.
to, move to suspend?
No, we
We
did
don't
that,
need it,
yes.
okay.
We did that.
Move approval.
Then second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on the dress code policy? I have one. When does this go into effect?
The 2015-16 school year.
I think there's some confusion on this that we need to get out to schools, and I think part of the confusion was enhanced with like the IPS website when people were showing pictures of the dress code and kids have on crazy socks and gray sweaters, and I think there's some confusion that we need to clarify on that.
Okay, will do.
All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's late. Give me a break. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Arnold,
Yes.
Commissioner Odle,
Yes.
Commissioner Dare White. Commissioner Hannon,
Yes.
Commissioner Roof,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown, and Commissioner Cosby. Passes unanimously.
Okay, next policy we have is 5.09, the revised educational field trip and extended learning excursions policy.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and
Do we
seconded.
need to suspend or is, okay, then
All
second.
right, roll call vote.
Okay. Commissioner Odle,
Yes.
Commissioner Dare White. Commissioner Hannon,
Yes.
Commissioner Roof,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Arnold.
Yes.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you. All right, I will actually hand this back over to the superintendent. I'm sorry, I hijacked it. We're going back up to 5.01, safe haven grant.
I move the rest of section 5.
That's fine if that's a consensus of the
I
board.
second that motion. To do
whatever
it
you
as a,
need.
whatever we haven't already done.
We ask that the Board of Commissioners approve items 5.01, 5.02, 5.03, 5.04, 5.05, and 5.11
So moved.
as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on these items? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Section 6.
Section 6, Superintendent General Recommendation for Business Finance and General Resolutions. Ask that Commissioners approve the items as presented, item 6.01 through item 6.04.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on these items? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next agenda section is General Superintendent Recommendation, Business Finance, Other. We ask that Commission approves items 7.01 through 7.03 as presented.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next section is General Superintendent Recommendation, Business and Finance Sealed Bids. Ask the Board of Commissioners approve items 8.01 through 8.13 as presented.
So moved.
Okay.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next section is General Superintendent Recommendation. Request that the Board of Commissioners approve the personnel report for November 18, 2014 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments?
Is that number of vacancies about the same or trending downward?
Right now, we're seeing an increase in resignations coming off of leaves of absence. Other than that, everything is comparable to this time last year.
Anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any unfinished business?
No, ma'am.
Next is superintendent's comments.
One comment this evening, just a reminder that we are hosting our first showcase of school this Saturday, November 22nd at Circle Center Mall from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is an opportunity for one-stop shopping, all of IPS, one location at one time, encourage families in the community to come learn about all our options and our programs at IPS.
Do I understand all 60?
All schools and programs will be available to answer questions and share what we offer.
Where will it be? Is it in the Arts Garden? Where is it actually located? I'm excited that it's there. I think that's a great location and it's very central located. But where's it at in the mall?
The south side of the mall, so coming out of the Moon Garage, the first, second, and third floors on that side.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Any commissioner comments?
I just wanted to say, for those people, whether they left disappointed or not, I think it's great to have people really engaged with us on what they want to see for IPS. And hopefully, after we do some more communication, they'll see that we're closer together than we are further apart. But I would hope that also that energy would get translated into continuing the participation at the school level, because that's where we really need this energy at the school level for us to be able to continue to improve the school system.
Thank you. Commissioner Arnold.
I'd just like to piggyback on that and say that change is hard. Someone told me once that nobody likes change but a baby with a dirty diaper, and I believe that. But I think rather than dwelling on obstacles to change, we need to be looking at what are the opportunities that come along with change. I didn't hear anything tonight that couldn't be resolved or might not end up being a better situation for our students, all of our students. So I just encourage people to remain optimistic and look at what the potential is instead of always kind of looking at if it's change, it must be bad.
I just want to thank everyone for their patience tonight. Never in my 4+ years here have I seen such an emotional topic with such a crowd that shows such respect for not only the board but one another. I thought that was handled very well. I'm very proud of our students who spoke tonight. My first board meeting, I was a junior in high school, it was 1994, and I came here to protest the closing of my school. And I really resented the people who sat in these chairs who made the decision to close my school. And it's ironic how life has come full circle, but it was a long night and it was a hard night, and I appreciate everyone for being here. And with that, we stand adjourned. Our next board meeting is December 2nd, 2014. It'll be a blended operations and academic session here in the boardroom. Thank you.